Two, 1, 2. I wasn't told that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. Yeah. 1, 2.
In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us.
1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah.
In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architecture.
Yeah. 1, 2, 2, 2. Yeah. 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2.
We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa, asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans to spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankango and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early were the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean.
1, 2. Yeah.
Maintaining the spirit
1,
of
2,
African
3.
humanity
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
in their hearts and in their minds.
Yeah.
And who
1,
left
2,
us this enormous
2.
legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans
2.
who resisted
Yeah. 1,
enslavement
2,
in the
3.
villages of Africa, who
Yeah.
resisted enslavement in the
1,
shores
2,
of Africa,
2.
who resisted enslavement in
Right.
those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holes of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, whose spirit and sacrifice. We ask these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the Maroon free communities. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We ask these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We asked those Africans who went with Boukman, Dessalines, to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
Let us start our class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Larima Shai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, our Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow to all of you. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, great Gurus, receive our love, receive our desire to love you more, to attune our hearts and minds with your great presence. Om, peace.
Ankuja Seneb, life, prosperity, and health to you. And one who is impatient is not leaned on. Let your eyes see and your heart take notice. Do not act harshly with your power, lest a misfortune fall on you. Helmsmen, do not let your ship go astray. Life giver, do not let the people die. Provider, do not let the people perish from need. Shade, do not let the people become dry in the sun. Protector, do not let the crocodiles seize the people and drag them away. Rob not the poor for their goods, the humble whom you know, For the poor's belongings are breath to them, and to take them away is to stop up their noses. Reading there from the Hosea, the sacred wisdom of ancient Egypt, the oldest known text there is. And if you're asked, what is the oldest written text? It is the Hosea. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back.
The time brought to you by IRI FM is...
Time is now 11 minutes after 6 o'clock. The entire team is here, and we're going to tell you who we have with us this morning. I know, though, that Kimar is doubling up this morning, and as a technical operator, he's just about to play us a song from that wonderful Maroon album, and that will give you an idea as to where we're going this morning. Kimar, it's over to you.
Ye free Africa. Running Africa ni. Ahaye Jamaica. So what take kaka say boso kadia ewo IRI FM.
Inside of the Africa Forum, it is Running Africa. And while we wait for that song, just to tell you what's coming up inside of the program this morning. Once again, just to thank you for joining us on irifm.net. Thank you for joining us on the 107s, 107.1 all the way to 107.9. Thank you for joining us on the social media platforms, as we said before. We're streaming live this morning. We're coming to you live from Studio B of IRI FM. It means that we're on all of your social media platforms. My name is Kabu at Kheru. We're going to go through until 10 o'clock. That's when the big A comes in with the Sunday sunshine. This is Maroon music, to kick things off, and we'll tell you all that we've got coming up inside of the program right after this.
Gani nani como ya ye yani me. Gani nani como ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Come back to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani como ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya kopra na boy ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani como ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra na boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya kopra na boy ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya kopra na boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Gani nani come ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra na boy ya ye yani me. Ya bring gal, bring boy ya ye yani me. Ya kopra to the rubber ya ye yani me. Gani nani
All right. Thank Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kimura. As we come to you live from Studio B. As I said before, we're streaming live this morning. The Africa Forum, Running Africa, and we're streaming live all morning. And you can catch us live on all of our social media pages. Once again, at Facebook, we are on IRI FM JA. That's on Facebook, IRI FM JA. Instagram, IRIFM _JA, and Twitter, IRIFM JA. So just once again, we're streaming live this morning. It's a live video stream. We're on Facebook at IRIFM JA. We're on Instagram, IRIFM _JA, and Twitter at IRIFM _JA. Also on IRIFM's YouTube page. So go to IRIFM YouTube, and we will be there live. We are there live, streaming live this morning. Our vision inside of the Africa Forum is to reunite the African family for development, and we continue to do that. Our mission includes blazing new paths towards Africa's rendezvous with destiny. And what a destiny, what a destiny. We are bearing witness. We're demanding change. We're being the change that we want to see. We're crafting an African-centered agenda for change and development, all the while honoring my moral obligation to remember. We have a lot this morning, but I want to quickly go to Buffalo, New York, because you would have heard that there has been another mass killing in Buffalo. 10 people killed, racially motivated mass shooting, Buffalo, New York, in a supermarket. Just, 2 weeks ago? We had on this program in studio with me our brother Ras Jomo, and our conversation with Ras Jomo included a new kind of racism that we're seeing, or more emboldened racism that we're seeing in places like Buffalo, New York. When that program was finished and I was talking to Ras Jomo, we spoke about talk radio and what was happening in Buffalo on talk radio. And I remember Jomo saying to me, listen, you haven't heard anything yet. Talk radio is serious, my sister. Now we're going to take a quick break and come forward, make that link with Ras Jomo, who is now back in New York, in Buffalo. A quick break.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is...
All right, time now is 19 minutes after 6 o'clock inside of the Africa Forum, Running Africa, and we're going live to speak with Ras Jomo. 10 people killed in a racially motivated mass shooting, Buffalo, New York, in a supermarket. Another break.
What are the benefits of simplified CDD for consumers? Simplified CDD, or simplified customer due diligence, means that it is easier and faster and more convenient for customers that are assessed as low risk for money laundering to open their accounts. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
M21st Century Development is the fastest growing design and construction company operating island-wide with our head office in Montego Bay. Services include project management, engineering, plumbing, architectural drawings, masonry, carpentry, steel fixing, painting, welding, and more. Check us out on Instagram at 21st Century Designs or our website at www.m21stcentury.com or call our office today at 876-678-0500. Trust us to deliver quality affordably.
Tired of running all over the place to get your projects done? Come visit us at Skymar Building Supplies and Hardware. We supply everything in building materials and fixtures. At Skymar Building Supplies and Hardware, Main Street, Highgate, St. Mary, we have everything you need with great deals and discounts. Call Skymar Building Supplies and Hardware now at 876-724-1890. That's 876-724-1890. We are here to serve you.
All aboard! Cashpot Money Train run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the Cashpot pre-Labor Day Money Train now at Supreme Ventures.
The St. Anne Municipal Corporation will be cutting trees in the vicinity of the St. Anne's Bay roundabout on Sunday, May 15, 2022, starting at 7:30 a.m. Motorists and pedestrians are asked to exercise caution when approaching the area.
Walking. As we go live to Buffalo, a white 18-year-old wearing military gear and live streaming with a helmet camera opened fire with a rifle at a supermarket in Buffalo, killing 10 people and wounding 3 others yesterday. Authorities in the U.S. described this as a racially motivated, violent extremism. My brother, Ras Jomo, is online. Good morning. Greetings, my brother. How you doing?
Greetings. Good morning. I'm thankful for what I have. I'm thankful that we're still here, but very, very saddened and very hurt at what is happening in our community, in all communities. Honestly speaking, Black people, we live in this extreme paradox, almost like the professor, the doctor was communicating, but it's happening all the time. We're happy one minute, and as we know reality, we're also saddened at the same time. And as a journalist, the more we know what's happening in the world, we are constantly going between these states of mind, especially as you're looking at the whole African family. So this is another one of those whole African realities that it didn't touch us directly yet, but we're all interconnected. So, I'll let you ask the questions and I'll answer it.
My heart to you and with the community in Buffalo, New York. I watch this, and I've been watching this as it continues to unfold, just looking at the images coming into us. And even while we are shocked and outraged, this is happening once too often. Now, just before we go into the politics of it, let us talk a little bit about what really happened, Ras Jomo. I worried for you for a moment, may I just say, because I reached out to you yesterday, and usually you would respond immediately, and I said, but Jomo is from Buffalo. This is a community that I know somebody like you, or even your family members. There's a supermarket that I know that you probably would have frequented. Tell us exactly what happened yesterday, as far as you know.
There's a few stories. The first story is that I was totally unaware of what was happening. And within 30 minutes, one of my older sons called me and said, "Dad, I don't know if you heard, but he said they shot up the tops on Jefferson." I was like, "Who? What happened?" He's like, "Dad, they came and shot it." And then he said, "Dad, it might be like 9 people dead." I was like, "What?" And then he said it was one white man came and did it, Dad. And immediately, we're in the 21st century, but Buffalo is one of the most segregated cities in America. So that neighborhood is, very, very high percent. I can't give you the exact number, but it's plus 80% all Black. Wow. And anyone who's living there who's not Black is because they just recently moved there, or might be one family who might have lived there for the last, 30 years. Other than that, that's how that community is. So when they said that a white person did it and it wasn't a shooting with an individual fighting another individual, then immediately in my head, it's like, hey, they're running a test. And my son, communicated what young people in inner cities communicate, meaning this, America and Jamaica and all places are not too different. Younger people in the inner cities are always thinking about security. And even though gun violence and things like that are plagued, the young people in the community are watching gun violence a little different than mature adult people who don't want to be bothered with that. Young people who see it every day, they're on a different soldier kind of mind. And that's one reality. That's one reality that's happening. So I ended up driving by the area, and we couldn't get within, like a few blocks going either direction. It was still kind of fresh. So I kind of went home. I didn't really follow the media and nothing like that too much. But I have another son who lives in Washington, D.C. area, and they're watching everything real time on social media. And in the midst of all this, I have to really commend young people who are watching social media. And when there's a topic, Kabu, they're learning things maybe even faster than the government because they're real time and they're sharing as a network. So I have to compliment young people in technology in this 21st century. And the manifesto, I don't know if you were able to see it before it was deleted.
I didn't see the manifesto, and I want to get to that manifesto because
I won't go there. I won't go there yet. I'll wait till you ask the question.
Right.
So Kabu, what happens is this is not a random, this guy drives into any neighborhood and he does anything. That's not what happened.
This is planned. This was well executed. This is something that this community was targeted. This is from all that we're hearing, and we're hearing about racially motivated violent extremism.
In 2 seconds, I'd already ascertained that by the phone call that my son had gave me.
That this is what it was.
Okay, yes.
And you've pointed out, I mean, this is an African American community. This is a predominantly black community.
80 to 90%. 80 to 90%
90%.
black people. This is where actually the first Juneteenth was actually held in that area. And this is also the area that's known as like the Cold Spring Maston Park area. This is the area where you have your generally lower income, but at the same time, high density of family and people who've known each other for decades.
Wow.
Okay.
This racist murderer, terrorist who carried out this abominable, horrific act against African Americans yesterday in Buffalo actually left a manifesto. I haven't had a chance to look at the manifesto. I know that did you see that before it was deleted, Ras Jomo?
I've seen bits and pieces. I was trying to communicate for them to capture it. I told them that in a little while it's probably going to be deleted. My sons, different people sent us pictures. They have some of the footage from his camera because he also live streamed it on Twitch. And we also have some of, people are passing along some of the clips of what he was saying, even as he pulled into the parking lot. Wow. And one of the things that stands out, just to let everybody know that, how serious it is that they said that it is written, there's a print that says that he targeted this 14215 zip code because it has the highest density of Black people and the lowest amount of people who have legal pistol permits. So this gun talk, there's two different conversations for those who are riddled by crime, and there's another conversation for those people who are advocates for gun rights and they're on a different military mission. I think that you and I talked about that in the car. I couldn't tell you everything we were driving, but these are some of the points I think that we were talking about when I was there and we were talking. I was trying to say that there's another climate in America that you all may not know.
And this is what I referenced earlier, because you actually said that to me. You said, listen, there's something behind the scenes that you're not necessarily hearing. But for us here in New York, for us in America, for us in Buffalo, this is something that we're very aware of. And one of the things that you said, eerily now, is that you almost foretold that something like this was going to happen. You talked about the extent to which this was a pressure cooker. And one of the things you said to me was, you should hear what's happening on talk radio, because talk radio is as racist as you can get, and it's literally prescriptive in a way in terms of what talk radio, white talk radio, racist talk radio was saying to their demographics and psychographics. Right. So how did this, do you think, feed into what happened yesterday? We hear about a lone wolf situation, but this obviously has nothing to do with no lone wolf. This is somebody who would have been given birth to literally by a system inclusive of what you referenced, talk radio.
Right. So he's actually from a county called Broome County outside of Binghamton, New York, if anyone wants to Google that. Mm-hmm. So his county is not 10, 15, 20, 30, or even 60 miles away. It's a few hours away. Kabu, just let me tell you, I didn't answer your call. There were so many calls. There's things coming in all over the world, even as we speak, like right now.
Yes.
My phones are, just kind of jumping all the social media. But what happens is one of the things that happens is this information was so thorough. A little later, my son texted me and said, "Hey, he drove right past y'all street. He drove right past your house." Wow. He has it written down. I'm going to go past this street. He loaded his guns on the street according to his writings right around the corner from me.
Wow. Wow.
And he drove around the corner. And what was mentioned to me yesterday with one of the other media is that he was here a little earlier and that he actually even, had changed his gear and camo and his camo gear and his body armor. Because,
right.
He did receive, I think, one shot, but the shot was partially deflected, I think, by body armor. The security guard. The security guard did one.
So the climate that we're not aware of in New York, the climate that we're not necessarily consciously aware of, that's the rest of us out here. You're saying that there's a climate that bred this young man.
There's a climate in the country, Kabu. I think that you and I were talking about January 6th offline, and I told you that about 30 of those people are actually from Western New York. Mm-hmm. One of the first persons that you saw on CNN was heckling us at the Marcus Garvey flag raising, the red, black, and green flag raising for our Juneteenth. We raised the red, black, and green flag for Juneteenth in front of our city hall. Mm-hmm. It was a private event because it was COVID. It was the weekend. It was the Monday after the weekend of George Floyd. Mm-hmm. One of the first persons arrested is a person from Western New York who was actually heckling our mayor at that flag raising, which was very discreet because COVID had just came in and we could not have a certain amount of people there. So even how they even knew is interesting, but that's the other, you heard Sister Olimata on, she's talking about a lot of those groups in America. Mm-hmm. Those groups in America are not paranoid groups. They know what happens on the ground. So any of those persons who have sustained Pan-African history or understand systems, Dr. Jeffrey, systems analysis, if you talk about this on your show, we can't forget what Reverend Dr. King said. He talked about the backlash when he wrote that book in Jamaica. And you all maybe don't know of the terror of the backlash. I told you this is almost like 1890s in America right now.
Wow. Yeah. How is the community doing finally, Ras Jomo? How is the community doing this morning? How is the community coping this morning?
Kabu, there's multiple people in multiple stages. Most people have not found out all of the names yet.
Wow.
Some of the families are in the know. In the city and a community like ours, my grandmother goes to church with your grandmother. My mother works with your grandmother. All of our families are still internetted here. Segregation in Buffalo has forced Black people to know each other. Mm-hmm. So everybody is not within 6 degrees. We're probably within a half a degree of separation. So there are people who we know who are in the facility who did make it out. We were all trying to contact them for hours. People who are on our cultural committees, families. Mm-hmm. There are families of people who we know who were injured, who were released from the hospital, and the other names. People all night are just praying and hoping. All the phone calls and locally or I hope it's not so and so. I hope it's not so and so.
Wow.
That's what's happening.
My brother Ras Jomo, Pan-Africanist, DJ, musician, journalist, radio announcer himself, a presenter, watching this as it unfolds in Buffalo, New York. Please keep in touch with us, Jomo. We will keep this link because this is unfolding, and we're waking up this morning with the sore of trying to figure it out, of trying to understand what really happened. My brother, once again, our hearts to you and the community in Buffalo.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right, we take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jomo.
Yes.
Civil servants, contractors, homeowners. The Tile Arcade is having a huge sale on ceramic wall tiles, floor tiles, and porcelain tiles. You cannot afford to miss out on these great deals. Visit us today at Sata's Block Factory, Elgintown, Lucy, Hanover. Call or WhatsApp us at 807-8840. Come on down and check out these great deals. The Tile Arcade, creating beautiful homes.
All aboard! Cashpot Money Train run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the Cashpot pre-Labor Day Money Train now at Supreme Ventures.
Having problems with your sight?
Yes, Naya.
Want to learn about best practices in taking care of your eyes? Then listen to IRI FM this and every Wednesday at 6:35 p.m. for Focus on the Eyes. Looking at eye care with Danique Weston, speaking to ophthalmologist Dr. Maynard McIntosh and the team from Ophthalmic Suites as we examine all your eye issues.
Change your eye and forward. Quick.
That's Focus on the Eyes, Wednesdays at 6:35 p.m. on the nation's #1 IRI FM.
IRI FM, I lick that.
Brought to you by Ophthalmic Suites, your eye care technology center.
All right, we're back with you live inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running Africa and coming to you from Studio B this morning, meaning that we are live streaming. You know that goes. We are streaming live on IRI FM's YouTube channel. We're on IRI FM's all social media platforms so that you can check us out on Facebook at IRI FM JA, Instagram, IRIFM_JA, Twitter, IRIFM_JA. Peter is in the house, so you know that we're streaming live. Mr. Wisdom is in the house, so you know we're live. Thank you so much for coming in so early. Kamar is in the house, so you know we're live. It's a full house. Shamara Preston, of course, in the house, our producer and floor manager this morning. And who do we have there? Jody and Dawkins at the desk. So it's a full team. And I can see on my screen my brother, Dr. Ras Wayne Rose, research collaborator at the Smithsonian Institute of Natural History, board member of the Universal Development of Rastafari, Inc., that is IDOR, past president of Rose Healthcare Staffing Services Limited, which is a Maryland-based nursing agency. He's trained in business management, public and oral history creations and presentations, and works closely with indigenous communities in Ethiopia, in Jamaica, in the USA, Kenya, in Ghana. Well, in the African diaspora, Ras Wayne currently teaches Africana Studies at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and is an instructor in history at Baltimore City Community and Howard County Community Colleges. He also lectures on African diaspora, African American and United States history, Caribbean cultures, music, and spirituality. Good morning, my brother, Dr. Ras Wayne Rose. How are you doing, sir?
Blessed love, and give thanks. I first greet all in that divine name of Kadamawi Haile Selassie I, and just giving love to the family. Just a quick correction, I no longer am at the University of Maryland. I am now at Jackson State University. Yeah, man, but give thanks.
Give thanks, my brother. Glad to have you in the place and that we're seeing you live this morning. We're seeing you ahead of you actually coming into Jamaica. Aren't you coming into Jamaica today?
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Okay, all right. Well, safe travels. And we're going to talk about why you're coming into Jamaica in a little while. But to the meat of the matter, we have, I think it might have been 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, that I was interviewing you and you just kind of threw in the midst that, listen, we have a 21-day ISIS coming up in 2022, and you're going to be there. You know, and I just kind of left it because, hey, if Ras Wayne says so, then it is what it is. But here we are in 2022, and we're looking forward now to that 21-day ISIS that's about to happen, but to happen in Saint Lucia. Give us the background to this. What is it that we are talking about?
So give thanks again, and it's a birthing, if you will, with a recognition that this year, 2022, represents 130 years in the life of Haile Selassie I. Importantly, just in framing it numerologically, it's 13 decades since his birth, 13 representing a very powerful number in the African ethos, way of life, in the African thinking that has been beaten out of us, socialized out of us, having us fearful of 13 because it's such a powerful number in terms of what it represents for us. So as the 13th decade in the life of Haile Selassie I comes around, a group of us, having completed a retreat at the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center in Saint Lucia, sat down and thought about the what next, what happens next. And in that group is a young author and publisher, Dr. Bookman, who came into Saint Lucia for that retreat, specifically to assist in documenting that experience. And also we had the Right Honorable Priest Kailash, the proprietor of the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center, our beloved brother Bunga Dr. Jalani Naya, who was also there among others. Yes. Of course, we had even our brother, Prophet Jamar, better known as Chronics in popular culture. But coming out of that framing, we said, there was a dawning in that moment. They said, but it was June 24, 2021. That was exactly 13 months before the 23rd of July, 2022. And in that moment, a moment of realization took place. Aha moment took place that this is appropriate. Exactly 13 months to celebrate the 130th or 13 decades in the life of the man. And we said, this has to be important. And it has to be shared with the community so ones could come in and fully participate, not in the normal ways. I mean, 13 decades don't come again. The 130th year will never reoccur in the life of this movement and the man. And therefore, we thought it's important to bring it in the mountains from whence cometh our help, the hills. Yes, and to make that ricochet, the sound of justice ricochet, because it's framed as a justice and healing initiative. And wouldn't you know it, yesterday, you see more trauma inflicted in the Black and brown communities of the United States.
We were just talking to Ras Jomo about that, and you yourself there, you're in St. Lucia now, aren't you?
Well, I am in transit right now.
You're in transit, right? Where are you, Ras Wayne?
I am in Miami.
There you go, in transit, on your way to Jamaica.
Yes.
But what a tragedy! What a tragedy in Buffalo. Even as we speak, and tells us that the work continues, the struggle continues. Ras Jomo was just talking about the book written by Dr. Martin Luther King right here in Ocho Rios. Dr. Martin Luther King, when he wrote the book, Where Do We Go From Here, Keosauqua Community, he was here in Jamaica. He was in Ocho Rios, just down the road in front of Dunn's River. And it's interesting that today, so many years after, we're still asking that question. But so that the 21-day ISIS, the dates obviously very, very significant. What kind of format will this take? How is this going to unfold? Give us some details as to timing and so on, dates and so on.
Yes, of course. So the dates, we will start on the 21st of July. We initially had proposed the 4th or the 3rd of July into the 23rd, but now we actually are starting on the 21st of July. And in fact, we have extended, not just in 21 days, we want to embrace the Right Honorable Marcus Garvey's Earth Strong. So we're going from the 21st of July all the way to the 17th of August. And in that period, we'll also encapsulate the emancipation
celebration
timeline. I wanted to say celebration.
Well, we celebrate
emancipation.
We celebrate it. I mean, our ancestors did
what
well.
I'm saying, is when you're celebrating something that you said was given to you when you shouldn't have lost it.
No, we took it. We took it.
So I have a problem sometimes with the framing, but I understand. Let us all recognize it and use it in the most meaningful ways.
Of course.
In the liberation of ourselves.
As we celebrate.
As Marcus Garvey did say, none but ourselves can free both our minds and our body, but even our spirits.
Exactly.
So I'm sorry.
So the dates, you were telling us about the dates?
Yes. So in the from the 21st to the 28th, I and I will be there, and we'll be having multiple spiritual sessions where we're unpacking the justice for ourselves. We're also going to, in the framing of our justice, look at an economic symposium, because we don't want to leave this flat and feeling inspired spiritually, but don't have an answer to our economic circumstance, which itself creates these kinds of situations where people can come into your communities and slaughter your people. We need to have an unpacking, which we're organizing in the framework of a maritime initiative, in the same way that Honorable Marcus Garvey spoke of the Black Star Liner, but to activate it with specialists from among our communities and to empower ourselves now to reach into our pockets and fund our liberation, because we have been resistant to that.
That's true.
And this is where the Justice Initiative comes into play, because for the past pretty much almost a year now, we have been in Saint Lucia organizing. We set up a secretariat. We have buy-in from the community, even from members of the Saint Lucian government, where people have seen the relevance of not just the narrative, but the work we're doing, because we have physical brick and mortar space where people from Mr. Joe Blow to the Prime Minister can come inside that space and see an African-centered space, a bookstore, a cultural center, a research area, of a special collections unit where people can come in and learn about themselves. And then we have been unpacking this in seminars, in poetry slams, in using the creatives, but also using the lecture spaces to talk to the community, to counsel with ones who need it, and to frame this judgment and justice initiative. So it's first justice and healing. So we're talking to the families about what atrocities we have committed against ourselves and how we now hold ourselves accountable.
Yes.
Before we go to Europe and the rest of these vagabonds who have inflicted injury on our people. Let us be honest about the process and honest to ourselves.
Well, can we ride and whistle? Can we do both? Can we hold them accountable, but at the same time hold ourselves also accountable in terms of what we're doing to ourselves?
Absolutely. And the thing is this, as you mentioned, both needs to occur, but one started before the other. And so you have, while Rastafari have been chanting, and Pan-African people in the Rastafari spaces and other spaces have been chanting for reparations. Yes? What we have not done, that chant has been now usurped by actors within government, setting up commissions and doing these important things. But then they put on this cloak of self-righteousness while they're still perpetrating injury in our communities. So we're saying, hold on a second. Justice means let us look at the beam in our eyes and remove it. And then we can, the rug will now be clean. Under the rug will be clean. So when we approach these hypocrites and parasites, we can say with a clear conscience, step up or step aside, because we will fund our own liberation from there forward, because we'll be honest with ourselves and we'll be honest with our children and our posterity. So we need to do these things. And
of
this
course.
is why the Justice and Healing Initiative has been launched.
So all roads lead to Saint Lucia in a few weeks' time. We're looking at end of July 21, into August 17, 18. All roads lead to Saint Lucia. This is where Pan-African, Rastafari, cultural, African-centered people of like minds will be gathered this year to look at ourselves, to celebrate ourselves, to observe important dates, but also to have a conversation on top of the action that is already underway in St. Lucia, talking about justice and healing. What will the entire period look like in terms of what will happen? Do we have fora? Do we have ISIS, chanting? What kind of a program are we looking at for those, 3 weeks?
Yes, well, it's actually 4.
4 weeks.
It seals up in 4 strong. So we'll have ISIS. We're going to start with the ISIS because we're right on the crust of the celebration of the 13 decades in the life of the man. So we're going to call for our justice from ourselves, and we're going to bring that energy of Africa with the drums, the Nyabingi drums. And we are going to incorporate our Bobo Shanti family with the Nyabingi family, with the non-aligned family, with the Pan-African family, and we're all calling for African righteous people. So I'm saying to my Jamaican family also, the Nyabingi, Bobo Shanti, and non-aligned.
Yes.
12 tribes of Israel, Orthodox, Ethiopian World Federation, let us come. If everyone can come send a delegation, it's important.
Yes.
And we're not begging for it. We're not trying to remove people's plans and their organizations. We're simply saying it has never occurred before, 13 decades.
Yes.
And if we can have a unified space and a unison in terms of the irit of the work and the energy and the mission, we can accomplish the things that allowed us to build Kemet, allowed us to build the civilizations of the past. And what we have not done, we have not exercised and activated that level of energy because it has not occurred before in terms of 13 decades.
And as the African wisdom goes, when the elders call the family together to have a meal together, it's not because we don't all have meals at our homes. It is because this is a moment for us to sit down and strategize as to what the next step will be. So the calling of the family together right now is a matter of strategy, is a matter of next step, is a matter of how do we, and this is what I'm getting from you, against the backdrop of something that's already underway. So that, and you talk about justice and healing underway there in St. Lucia. Once again, we're saying all roads are leading to St. Lucia, July 21 to August 17. And what a blessing that is, I think, for us as African people to come together in this way in a Caribbean country. Usually when we're saying all roads lead to somewhere, when we are moving together as African people, it is usually to the continent of Africa. Right? So this is the African diaspora, and we're moving to St. Lucia, which is closer for so many of us in the Caribbean to be a part of. So we invite you to be a part of that pilgrimage, if you wish, that caravan, if you wish. But we're heading to St. Lucia for July 21 to August 19. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us, Ras Wayne. A quick break, and I'll be right back.
I believe in a Jamaica with no guns. I believe in a safer Jamaica for you and me.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
Now, 6:54, you're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and, you know, I see Kamar. I call you Ras Kamar this morning. I see you getting upset with me, you know. I apologize, my brother. My bad. Ras Wayne, we just took that time signal late. So I apologize on behalf of the team who have been saying to me, go time signal, go time signal. But in the last few minutes that we have, Ras Wayne, for persons who want to be a part of this, what kind of, and I can already hear our listeners, you know, saying, yeah, I'm going to go, I'm going to be part of this journey into St. Lucia, July into August. What other place to be than somewhere where we're looking at, as you keep saying, this is not going to happen again. This is what it is. How do we How do persons become part of this? How can they get to St. Lucia? What kind of accommodations you think might be available in terms of how people can tap into that? What's the air travel like, etc.? How do people get there?
So in the first increment then perhaps to unpack is that we have a website that we're updating as information and are finalized. It's justiceandhealing.com. Very easy.
Justiceandhealing.com.
And we're unpacking and establishing all the protocols on that website, which will be updated at the end of this month, just from where it currently sits. So we'll have accommodations, we'll have restrictions and entrance information, so ones will know exactly what is required of them to enter. Importantly, though, at the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center, we're opening up space. This is an exclusive COVID certified resort.
Beautiful.
Rejuvenation.
Beautiful.
But we're opening up spaces for members of the family, the workers, the people who have been staying in the vineyard of goodness. People like, could I dare say, my beloved Queen Kabu and
look at that. Look at that
character who have been
I'm looking forward.
Constantly. So we're saying, come, we will accommodate you in that space.
Thank you so much.
About 40 people.
Yes.
Yes, but we're asking elders to come. We're asking priests to come. We're asking people who have their own framing, the farmers, the priests, the physician, everyone can come and have that opportunity to help us rise the gods from within us, because we are gods in creation. Yes, and we have forgotten what it means to be children of the Most High. As Psalms 82 verse 6 speaks to. I have said ye are gods. We have forgotten that because we've been socialized away from that. So we want God to arise in us and through us so that we can administer the work of justice and healing for ourselves, our family, and our posterity. And then in that same reality, call for the judgment on the wicked. Because we've been calling for it with our musicians and others in the prayer, saying, God have mercy. But no, we will activate it intentionally in a collective. We will test that. We will prove it if we get the people together. If not, we will wallow in another 1,000 years of this misery. If that's what people want, if that's what they want for their children, God forbid.
God forbid. And I hear you saying this is a test also, and I understand the test for us as a nation, for us as a people, to answer this call. I know you're coming in tomorrow, and when you come in, we hope that you'll be able to make it to the studio. I hope you're in Jamaica long enough to make it in the studio so that we can open the phone lines and have our listeners call in and talk to you directly about some of these plans. If not, we'll continue the conversation, though, as we look ahead to July 21 to August 19. St. Lucia is the meeting place. All roads are leading to St. Lucia. African people, this is where we're gathering. We have our own business to take care of, and we're doing that in St. Lucia, July 21 to August 19.
Queen Kabu, I know you're wrapping up, but I just want the Caribbean family to remember that leadership have always resided in us for our people. We were extracted for a reason. Yes, we lament the extraction. But if you look at all the movements that have revolutionized our contemporary reality, you hear the name of our people, wherever we have been from, the islands. This is why it's important, again, to re-energize from this space. So when we come into the continent, we come in not as people just being an anomaly in the space, yes, but people that plan to execute. We're not there so our family can sympathize with us. We're there to lead and to assist in the leadership with our family who are there.
As we have always
I want to also just say the Right Honorable Priest Kailash is on his way to Jamaica today. And that is the partnership that we've had from St. Lucia, along with the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center, the space, the people, the energy. And we're coming into Jamaica to talk about reclaiming our health, which is part of our healing, our restorative processes. So we have to have a broad spectrum of conversations going to take place.
Yes.
And it's all tied into justice and healing. for ourselves.
And this is a theme. This is a theme on which we're heading to Saint Lucia, July 21 to August 19 this year. Get yourselves ready. We don't need a visa, and that exhort that already. We don't need no vaccines, so that exhort that already. So we're good. Saint Lucia, July 21 to August 19. Thank you so much, my brother Rasway.
Listen, love, Honorable Queen Kabu. Be
Yes,
well,
sir.
stay well, keep doing the work. Looking forward to seeing you on I arrival in Jamaica. Blessed love, Jamaica.
Right, we'll see you
family,
shortly.
And your listening audience. Give thanks.
All right. Thank you so much to Raswayne there on his way to Jamaica. And once again, all roads are leading to St. Lucia, July 21 to August 19. A quick break. We'll be right back with much more.
BKB, awesome meals and taste. You're awesome, you deserve awesome taste.
The time by Burger King taste rules your way is
now 7 o'clock. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are live this morning on the social media platforms, video streaming live. So in addition to being on the 107s, 107.1 all the way to 107.9, we're also live on the social media platforms. So we're on Facebook, IRIFM JA. We're on Instagram, IRIFM JA, that's IRFM _ JA. We're on Twitter, IRFM _ JA. And once again, just to say, we're on YouTube, IRFM's YouTube channel. So go IRFM YouTube and you'll get us live. It's all live this morning, all video streaming. And we are very pleased to welcome you to the video part of things, because usually it's all audio, as you know. Once in a while we do go video, and this is one of the mornings. Thank you so much for joining us. Kemar is at the board, the console, and he's selecting all those beautiful music that you're hearing from our Granny Nanny O album. Thank you so much for that, Kemar. And as we look forward to what's coming up inside of the program, let me talk quickly about a few issues. Yes, Kamar, I can keep it going in the background there. We don't mind. Let me talk about a few issues that's been in the news that we want to pay some attention to. We see the labor unrest in Jamaica. It is no surprise to us, just to say, not surprise at all. This was going to happen sooner or later. And I think that if we continue to think that our workers can live under the yoke, the burden of oppression, from the authorities, from the government of Jamaica, then we're making a sad mistake. The Minister of Finance was always wrong. We have said that time and time again in this space, that Mr. Nigel Clark was wrong from the beginning, because the neoliberal agenda does not take into account the worker and the plight of the worker. The neoliberal agenda benefits the private sector. It benefits the corrupt government, that is Jamaica, and their friends. So that the labor unrest that we're seeing in Jamaica right now was expected. It's going to get worse because there is a global problem, but the inequities and the inequalities that are inherent in Jamaica's corrupt system will ensure that it gets worse. What do we do is a question. What will be our response? A few years ago, we started talking about food security. Many years ago, we're talking about something like 20 odd years ago, we started talking about food security in this space. We talked about the Codex Alimentarius and the fact that we have no voice at Codex. I have been in this space for many years, 31 years. And I have yet to interview a minister of agriculture who knew before he came into this space what the Codex Alimentarius really meant for food security in Jamaica. And that was always a travesty. I have yet to speak with a minister of agriculture who could articulate Jamaica's food security strategy, plan, policy, agenda over the 31 years that I've been in this space. And I've been serious about food security. What does that tell us about where we are as a people? So the labor unrest among workers in Jamaica will get worse before it gets better. And that is the bottom line. The thing, though, is that we as a people, we the people, must determine what we're going to do. At the beginning of COVID, one of the things that I said for the entire year, that entire first year, is to plant the crops, plant the cash crops, because it was obvious that we were now going to go into this situation where they were going to tell us about artificial food shortages. They predicted it. They are going to ensure that it happens. This is where we are. Now, another thing I want to look at quickly is just to talk quickly about mental health in Jamaica. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I have been doing that over the many years, but especially now. And that is that, especially coming out of these 2 years of lockdown and coming into a situation where we're facing global food shortages, we're facing a rise in the cost of living, increases in food prices, increases in gas prices, increases in just about everything, that so many of our people are now experiencing mental problems. Our children are experiencing mental problems. Lots of depression and a lot of other kinds of mental problems. The state has a responsibility, but I'd like to say quickly that we should look out for our neighbors. Look out for our families. Look within our homes. Do not allow your siblings, your mother, your father, do not allow those around you who are close to you within your own home to fall into depression. I don't want to get into a preaching thing this morning, but I have to stop to say that because it is clear that the mental health situation in Jamaica is beyond the reach or the scope of what the state is about to handle. The state, I think, is paying scant regard to this. Let us step in and take care of ourselves, put ourselves in charge of ourselves. Later on in the program, we want to go back to land ownership, access to the beach, and so on. But another thing that I've been noticing, and I want to say to the students, to the principals, to the board, to the Ministry of Education generally, of VIRTEC, and that school in Duncan's in Trelawney. It's Duncan's Primary, where 2 principals died suddenly. Our hearts to you, our hearts to you. We can't even begin to imagine what you're going through. Our hearts to you, and these 2 principals who passed on, may they rest in peace. All right. Do we have a program lined up for you this morning? We certainly do. When you see Shamara busy like that, I don't know if you're seeing her on camera, but believe me, she's very, very busy. I mean, in and out, in and out, in and out. You know that something great and something big is happening in the studio this morning. And the team is here, right? So Mr. Wilbert Wisdom is in the house from the engineering department. Hi, Wisdom, how are you doing? No, you can't just shout. Wisdom, you know me. You know that this is a moment in the program where you're going to have to step here and to say hello to us right here. So walk this way. Let our listeners see who who you are. So here is Mr. Wisdom.
Good morning, Jamaica.
What you doing? What you doing here, sir?
Getting the sound quite good and clear for you this
Right,
morning.
right.
Yes.
Good.
Um,
Yeah, you're in
understand.
Good. So we're seeing
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Trying
how
to
we
be-
sounding?
Pretty good.
All right,
Pretty good.
great.
Yes.
But every minute you're telling me to put the mic closer to your mouth. Put
Yes,
the mic.
yes,
So
I
this is
wanted
good.
to-
I'm supposed to be touching it, right?
Yeah, to lip sync, you get more volume because we're in a
Right.
room and
Right.
they have to drive the volume more so I can get more levels up.
Right. So Wisdom, you're a senior engineer here at IRFM.
Okay.
What do you mean by okay?
Yes, I am.
Isn't that what it is?
Yes,
How
I
long
am.
you been here?
About a year after I opened.
Right, so you came 1991.
92.
92.
Yes.
Well, it's 2 years after Area opened because
Right.
we came on here in 1990.
Okay.
Right, so you're senior engineer here at Area FM. And so you've seen Area FM move from the just audio as we move into the information age and now in the post-information age and the digital age. You have seen all of that. What kind of experience has that been like for you?
As a part of the transition, I was one of the person assisting the transition. So it was just normal for me going to
Right,
transition because
right.
I had to patch in, assist with video,
Right.
audio, and these things. And I get used to it. I just love
Right.
what I do. So I just reboot myself up to the higher levels and just go up to the different transitional time.
Right. Well, we're very happy to have you in the house. Whenever we're doing a broadcast like this and when we're going live, when we're streaming live, we're always happy to have you in the house. Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom.
You're welcome.
Also in the house is Kamar. And Kamar, I'm not seeing you right now. It means you need to come this way even you're doing what you're doing. And, excuse me, Kamar? Oh, you soon come. All right. And we also have with us in the house Peter. Peter, can you leave what you're doing there? Yes, Peter, you must can step away for a minute. So the team is in the house. So Peter Brodba is here, and I suppose you recall many moons ago when we used to work with Peter more often. And we had said Peter Brodba there, and we asked Peter, tell me something. Peter, how come we're not seeing we foot part of us? How come we're only seeing up to our waist? Is you set it so?
Yeah, I set it that way. So you just
Why?
see head up, waist up.
Oh, waist up. Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Waist up. But Peter, you're Peter Broadband. Immediately, this is a running African audience, so you don't know that go. Are you related to Erna Broadband, Nana Erna Broadband? Do you know we're going to ask you again?
Yes, that's my aunt.
There you go. So this is a nephew of Nana Erna Broadband. So where else would he be on a Sunday morning when we ask him to come out? The only thing is that me wear the ank and him wear the cross. It is what it is. How you do? How you do, Peter?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, tell us about what you're doing this morning.
Streaming this show, this program
Right.
to all our viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram.
Right, so he's a digital man in the house. How can they find us, even though we've been saying it?
IRFM on all platforms, pretty much. IRFM JA.
So from you go YouTube, will you find us everywhere?
Yeah,
or
man.
do you?
From once you type in YouTube, IRFM on YouTube, you should see us.
You should say us. All right. Peter, this is, I was talking to Wisdom just now about moving into a post-information age. And I know when you came in this morning, so Peter, what's up with you? Because I know you're doing this, but you're millennial, right? You're millennial?
Yes, I think so.
Well, you're almost Gen Z, so so you're millennial, right? And but for millennials, I'm seeing a whole different trend in terms of how you all look at work, especially because you have access to the digital technologies, and you seem to have you're right there with this kind of millennial thinking. Why do you think that is so?
Well, I think we were born in the age of technology, so it's just it comes natural to us to rely heavily on the technology to live our lives, to
So
make money. And
so it's different from your parents, right?
yeah,
It's different from
our parents, my parents were more of hard work, sit down, you go to your 9 to 5, and that's just the way it goes, and that's what you have to do for your whole life until you retire, and then. But we believe that there are more opportunities thanks to the technology.
And you're using the technology. So how can we find you? What do you do?
Well, I actually do websites. Apart from working here at IRFM.
So that is so you have tapped straight into the digital technologies. This
Yeah.
is where your whole thing is.
Yeah, man, I'm a techie.
Are you into the Internet of Things now? You're connecting everything to everything.
Yeah,
It is
that's
what
where
it
the
is.
world is right now. Everything
Well.
is connected to everything.
So you see that, Shamara? Everything is connected to everything. You're a millennial too, and you're not there. Come here.
Come,
Thank you so
Shamara.
much,
Come,
Peter.
Shamara.
Give her the microphone.
Here you
thank
go.
Thank you so much, Peter. Really a pleasure working with you as usual. It's a very special program this morning. We're streaming live, and the entire team is in the house, and I haven't seen them for a while. Shamara, come this way. Have you heard that everything is connected?
I've heard.
Right.
You're looking radiant this
What,
morning.
don't even change the topic. Don't even try. Shamara, well, since you're here,
Yes.
and well, I know you're into the digital technologies.
I am
right?
to an extent. I'm still learning a lot of things.
And you're a millennial too, even though you pretend that otherwise. Just so listeners
I'm
know.
an old soul.
Well, whatever. Right. So, Shamara, since you're here, you are the producer for the program this morning. Give us an idea of what we have coming up, because this is a big thing coming up this morning.
It
Right,
is.
yeah?
I am excited. You know, we have guests in studio. It's been a while. And we're streaming live on the social media platforms. We have the Colonel of the Moortown Maroons and members of the Moortown Maroon Committee. So that is something to look forward to. And then after that, we're linking live to Suriname. I actually spoke with Kenrick yesterday evening. I think it should be an interesting discussion without giving too much to our listeners, because I want them to stay, you know, and wait. But it is something to look forward to.
I am looking forward
Keep it
to
locked
it.
to the 107s and the social media platforms, and you know, just wait.
I am looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Shamara Preston.
You are most welcome.
As I said, the team is in the house. Mr. Wilbert Wisdom, Peter Brodber, DJ Kimar, Jody K. Tucker, Trishan Marsh, Richana Marsh, Shamara Preston, all here this morning as we come to you live. We're actually streaming live on the social media platforms, as you heard. And we're going to be moving, after we come from this break, we're moving into that segment of the program where we're stopping for a moment to talk about Maroonage. And they are already in the house. A quick break, I will be right back.
Make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for a Satacor Life Child Protector Critical Illness Plan today. The time by Satacor Life is...
All right, let me just get that for you, because I have been walking up and down and totally out of a time. 17 minutes now after 7 o'clock. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African. My name, of course, is Kabu Ma'at Kheru. Broadcast assistant is Shamara Preston. And as I said before, with the team of Wilbert Wisdom, Peter Brodber, DJ Kimar, Jody K. Tucker, Trishan Marsh, and Shamara Preston. Very happy now to welcome to this space my very special guest. I'm especially happy to welcome Colonel Wallace Sterling, you know, to the space. Colonel Sterling, every once in a while we meet up like that. You're good where you are. Every once in a while we meet up. Yes, you're good where you are. Every once in a while we meet up like this. I've known Colonel Sterling for very long time. And, you know, I remember when we were on the In Search of series in 2007, the amount of time that we spent in Moortown and that we worked together in Moortown in putting up even the monument. Yes, we did put up that monument, didn't we? There's a monument to Granny Nanny that we put up in Moortown along with Professor Vereen Shepherd when we came in. Was it a plaque?
Yeah.
Yeah. There in Colonel Sterling, I can remember, you know, Colonel, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, the Jamaica National Heritage Trust was responsible for that under Professor Vereen Shepherd.
Right, I know.
Yes.
I remember that very well.
So every time I go out there and read that thing, we say, oh yeah, we were there, you know. So I'm very happy to have you with us, Colonel Sterling. And the group with us is, let me just tell you, Colonel Wallace Sterling. We also have Ivan Deans, member of the Moortown Maroon Council.
He's actually the major.
Major?
Yes.
Of the Moortown Maroon Council?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yes, man, I recognize you, yes. And Andrew Osborne, member of the Motown Maroon Council, welcome. Foreman,
right.
okay. And Alicia Julius.
Is the assistant secretary.
Assistant Secretary of the Motown Maroon Council. Welcome. Before we go any further, we see that my brother Andrew has the abeng. So, Andrew, we're going to put it over to you. Put the mask aside a little while you introduce this segment of the program in the way that we do with the abeng. So, yes, you can stand. All right. So this is Andrew Foreman from the Motown Maroons, who is now going to be blowing the abeng. Thank you so much, my brother. Asheo, Asheo.
They say meyaka o meyaka. Good morning.
Say that again, Colonel.
Meyaka o or meyaka.
But you were singing it though.
Well, because you can say meyaka o meyaka. It's like,
well,
you know,
no, but become one, the little movement, you know. So, so if you do that again for me, I'm good. Say it again, Colonel.
I say meyaka, meyaka o meyaka o.
All right, we love it. We love it.
It's just basically says good morning, and normally the person will respond Imbrava, Imbrava.
Imbrava. Everybody gonna learn it this morning.
Yeah.
So you say, when you say good morning, miyako, miyaka.
Yeah. That is one of the way of saying good morning.
Right.
I mean, there's another way that is popular greetings amongst us in the Windward Maroon community. I might say Salam alaikum, and the person will say Malikum salam.
Right. So that is straight now Islam. That's Arabic.
Yes, but you still have to understand that some of our foreparents had Islamic influences,
and that is true.
Before they got here.
Yes, and the work of Dr. Sultana Afroz speaks very, very clearly to this.
Yeah.
That and because you're talking about a period of enslavement where Africans were taken from stolen, kidnapped from the continent of Africa, all across Africa, and forced to labor to work here on the plantations in Jamaica. And the thing about that is that by that time you already had the Arab incursion on the continent of Africa.
Right.
And the Arabs themselves were enslavers, and that is the bottom line.
Yeah.
So that there were many countries on continental Africa that were speaking the language, which would have been Arabic, and which in a way is also a religious language in many cases.
Right,
so assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. Yeah,
right.
so that would have been and it's interesting that that retention remains in the Maroon communities even today.
Even today.
So that Dr. Afroz, I think, in her research, found that it was more than just assalamu alaikum that was spoken in the Maroon communities, but many other words, the Arabic language that's retained there. Isn't that something?
Maybe next we're gonna speak Swahili.
Well, the one, that's why we're going to stay with the first one. What was the first one again? Miyako, that we'll stay with.
Yeah. Well, to that extent that I am presently in discussion with somebody who is from Ghana.
Yes.
He basically resides in the United States at this point in time. And will be retiring very soon. And, we are engaging him to come to the community to help us to further teach the Twi language.
Okay.
Because the Cromanti language that we speak is basically dominated by the Akan speaking people.
Yes.
So if the children, the young persons would learn the Twi language in its raw sense, you get a better grasp of the Cromanti language. Because, when the Helters would have spoken the straight Twi, they refer to it as cutting country. That means referring to the motherland Africa as country. So when
Yes.
they speak it in an undiluted form, that's how they refer to it.
Because at the end of the day, the Coromantee has to be put into context in terms of what that entire region was and so on, and the language that was spoken in that area. Very good. So when that happens, you can let us know, and we'll.
Of course, this gentleman, I just spoke to him yesterday, and one of the things that he said, he has been talking to some other friends of his, and they said, okay, fine, you are coming to teach, so we are coming too.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. So let me just quickly go around and talk to the team. Mr. Ivan Deans. How you doing, my brother?
I'm not too bad,
Yes, it's a while. If you put the mic directly to your mouth.
I've seen you in a few years.
It's a long time, it's true. But as I look at you, I know that. But I know, yes.
Of course.
Yes. One way is Motown proper. No, if I was outside of Motown generally. Motown proper. Yeah, man. I remember. All right. So, what does a when we say major? What does that mean?
You see, I'm one of the senior members.
Speak closer to the mic.
One of the senior member of the Motown Maroon Council, of which, with the Colonel and other members, we take care of the people's business.
Right. So the major is like the person in charge.
Of course.
Right. And that is below the colonel or over the colonel?
No, it's below the colonel.
All right, just I get it right.
Then you have the captain after.
Yes.
Then you have the foreman after.
Okay. So the captain is not here today?
Yes, he's here.
Who's the captain?
He's outside.
Oh, he's outside?
Yeah.
All right, who's the captain?
Glenroy Bernard.
Why am I outside?
Well, space is inside the studio. We can take term and person.
Okay, all right. So we'll probably see him in a little while. And the major, we just hear blow their bank. Sorry, the foreman. So tell me, what does the foreman do in the council?
Well, my duty in the council is to see that everything that we do done the right way.
Okay.
So
okay.
I put myself all the while in charge to see that things done the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. Order.
Yes.
Right. And we have Alicia Julius, and you are the... I take the microphone.
I am Alicia Julius, the Assistant Secretary.
All right. So that speaks for itself, but tell us what you do.
Well, when the Secretary is absent, I do the writing, take the minutes.
That speaks to the microphone.
I take the minutes.
When the Secretary is absent.
Yes.
All right. All right, Colonel, we want to jump right into it now because the Motown Maroons have been in the news for the last few weeks. And even before that, there has been a whole lot of discussions on the ground in Jamaica about Maroonage and what does that mean, etc. We have had conversations with you. But I want to start with the last few weeks and what appeared to be a challenge to your leadership in Motown. Was that more like the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau?
Very much so.
Okay.
Very, very much so. The voice of Jacob, but the hands of Esau.
We have a pastor here and can come and explain it to the listeners.
No, I can do the explanation.
Oh, well, there you go. Explain it. Explain it. Yes.
I mean, it's like what you see is not what really is. Like you go to a movie and you see the star doing all these things. Actually, if it's a stuntman who is doing them, right? So it's the persons who behind the scenes who are pushing, this young lady, and my heart goes out for her because persons are really trying to damage her, and she's naive to think that the things that they are telling her can really work that way, and more so, the persons who are pushing these things are not even members of the community. So more so, they are like outsiders. Persons who are, never in the history of the Maroon community in Jamaica that I can recall, or is it written anywhere, that one colonel would have left his place to go into another community to campaign to get rid of, the
sitting colonel.
The sitting colonel.
And you are sure that this happened?
Absolutely.
Well, something happened in Scotts Hall recently. And I'm not sure if another colonel was involved, maybe not, but a colonel was more or less pushed out,
okay,
out of Scotts Hall.
So here's what happened in Scotts Hall. the sitting colonel was Colonel Prier. He was there for many years, much longer than I was in office, right? Because I came to office and he was still there. And he was getting old. He would have basically retired anyway. And there was this thing that, they tried to put somebody else, and they asked the Maroon Secretariat, to make some intervention because they asked, right? So because Secretariat would not necessarily intervene in matters like that. So the then chairman of the Secretariat and Colonel Ferran Williams went there and have a discussion with them and think everything was okay. That didn't settle it. And some of the very same persons who are now involved in trying to unseat me, they were there supporting the person who eventually became the colonel.
So the point that I'm making is that, and answer when we come back from the break, is that there has been within the Maroon communities a kind of a situation similar, but maybe not as, what would you say, egregious as what we saw in Moortown. But let me take that break because even after Colonel Pink, and I remember having a conversation with Colonel Pink just recently, where he was saying he didn't call an election, but an election happened, and he's no longer the chief. So let me take a quick break and come back.
Don't joke with cats to make the ketchup. Richer, thicker, and more affordable.
The time is
now 7:31. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running
FX Trader
African.
more than just great rates? FX Trader has more cash in more currencies in more locations than any other Cambio in Jamaica. Walk in and out of FX Trader Cambio in less time with the confidence that FX Trader always has the cash you need when you need it. And if bank transfers are your thing, we can do that too. Go to fxtrader.gkmsonline.com to see how we can help you make payments around the world without having to go in store. FX Trader is changing the face of foreign exchange.
It's that time of year for the 16th annual Best of the Best concert on Sunday, May the 29th.
Memorial Weekend featuring
Mr. Barris Amon.
I feel good when you're wrapped up in my arms.
Mr. Vegas.
Sham.
Youngster. Tentic.
Chris Martin.
And represent the soca massive, Patrice Roberts.
Lyrical.
Ricardo Drew.
Purchase tickets online now. Bestofthebestconcert.com.
Or call 305-438-9488 to find out your local ticket outlets.
I did a crazy attack. You see me means a real G, real go-getter. My life move non-stop. So me have to stay link and floor yard and road. And my connect. And one plan link me up at home with Wi-Fi and on my mobile with data and calls to any network. At my yard, non-stop streaming my vibes. Or studying from a pitney them and out the road. And non-stop vibes, same way. Flow connect me non-stop for as little as $3,999 a month. Plus GCT, I forget it. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
Cash in your coins today with Coin Exchange at select Bill Express locations island-wide. No need for counting or sorting, and it's free. For location details, visit gkmsonline.com and click Coin Collection or call 888-555-5555.
All aboard! Cashpot Money Train run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the Cashpot pre-Labor Day Money Train now at Supreme Ventures.
The St. Anne Municipal Corporation will be cutting trees in the vicinity of the St. Anne's Bay roundabout on Sunday, May 15, 2022, starting at 7:30 a.m. Motorists and pedestrians are asked to exercise caution when approaching the area.
All right. We're back with you live inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African, and we're streaming live on all of our social media platforms this morning. We're on YouTube Live, we're on Facebook, IG, Twitter. Wherever we are this morning, you can get us the video stream live. We're live all morning inside of the Africa Forum. Our very special guests in the studio this morning from the Moortown Maroon. Just as we went into the break, Colonel Sterling, we were talking about the precedent that there seems to be within the Maroon community, generally speaking, it's a precedent that has been set where Maroon colonels are ousted in ways that the colonels themselves do not necessarily support. Colonel Pink, for example, who ousted Colonel Prehay, was ousted himself by Colonel Latibaudiere. Am I lying?
Well, basically, what goes around comes around. and
Good. Chief Pink, you hear that?
Yeah. So, when I was there, I tried to warn them about this kind of situation. I said, I made it clear to them when they asked me, I said, look here, the old broom sweep clean. It knows all the corner. The new broom might sweep clean, but
the old broom.
So treat the man with due care and respect.
And we covered that here, Remember Colonel Prehay, We covered that here on the Africa Forum. We remembered when that happened. So if Colonel Prehay had not happened, you might not have been challenged in the way that you were challenged.
No, well.
What do you think about that?
No. I think it's a whole different scenario. I mean, I have been challenged already before by...
Just speak a bit closer.
Yeah, I have been challenged already before.
But I mean, in the way you were challenged.
No. In 2014 by another Hope.
Okay.
The bigger Hope.
Okay.
And it didn't get anywhere.
I might have been out of the island.
No,
so
the smaller Hope now.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I remember that challenge.
Right,
okay,
fine.
Yes.
So what happened? If you look at the bylaws of the Moortown Maroon community, it says that the colonel and his officers are basically elected for life.
It's a position for life.
Right.
According to the bylaws.
According to the bylaws.
Position for life.
Fine.
Right.
But if there's a situation that arises that you basically, the colonel is going off the walk, then you might have an election to elect a new colonel.
Is this what they reasoned with Colonel Prehay in Scots Hall? Is that what the reasoning was?
I just don't want to go into it. I think the manner in which it was done was not necessarily
right. We're not hearing it too well. If you just
so what happened here now, right? Is so I was elected into office because the sitting colonel at the time had actually retired.
And that was Colonel
CLG Harris.
Exactly. Right.
So the council, which is the governing body, had the mandate to stay on for another year. But before the year was over, they decided they want to have an election to elect a new colonel. Okay, fine. So I ended up being a colonel. But how CLG came into office? He was basically appointed. How did Ernest Downer, before CLG came into office, he was appointed?
Right.
How did, Mr. Mackenzie, Georgian Mackenzie came into office? He was basically appointed by the council. How did Mr. Harrison, by the way, Harrison's a white man, was a white man. How he came into office, he was appointed. And if you look at all the other colonels down the road, right, they were basically appointed for life. Unless in the case of Harrison, notwithstanding the fact that he was white, but there was some land issue why the people decided to get rid of him. And, they have consensual departure in that sense.
Yes.
So everybody in the community knows that you cannot call an election unless if the council is the only body that has the authority to call an election.
And Major, you never call the council never call an election?
No, none at all, please.
Who has the authority to call an election so that even it got to the news, the police came, people were talking about ballots. Who has that authority?
Well, okay, fine. I said that is the authority of the council.
So Major, let me go back to Major. So Major, you're sure you never call no election in a Moortown?
Not at all.
Foreman, you call the elections, huh?
I'm the one with the council and the colonel who's supposed to be doing that.
All right, so no election was called in Moortown.
Another thing too that we need to get clear.
Yes.
Voting for any officers in Moortown doesn't require ballot paper. That is out of the question.
Right.
So
this discussion about ballots,
yes, waste of time.
Would have been totally outside of what of the policy.
And if you listen to the argument about the ballot,
yes,
it's more like somebody is out there campaigning to say, okay, I'm getting signatures for persons who are displeased with what the colonel is doing.
Right.
They don't have a clear position.
I heard that.
Yeah.
So let me ask this, because one of the things that came out in the whole thing is that you were challenged because you weren't, according to those who challenged you, you weren't doing a good job. How do you respond to this?
All right, fine. I'm going to answer that question.
Yeah.
But there are some persons who we are allowed to stay in the community, and they are some of the major troublemaker, disruptors, and they have gone to Scottsdale and tried the same thing. They have been put out, so we're going to put them out of the community as well, right? Because you can stay outside and make your trouble, but don't come inside in our face and make this trouble.
Right.
Okay. So if you look at the genesis of what happened last August with a compound and the colonel there, and what follows with the prime minister and the colonel. When the prime minister asks that he wants to meet with the colonel of the various Maroon communities, save and except for the one from a compound. I mean, we went. We tried since the colonel of a compound get into office from last February. We make every effort for him to be a part of the Maroon Secretariat. We are basically changing the name, right? To Yami Council of Indigenous Leaders, to include the Tainos and the others.
Right. Which means to include my people, which would be the Tainos. Yes.
Yeah. So we did that, and we invite him to all the meetings that were held. But he has a lot of reasons why he couldn't. Only twice have he attended any such meeting. And I will tell you why.
Yes.
It was a time when he has a situation with the Prime Minister. He attended the meeting the Sunday before we went to meet the Prime Minister on the Friday and the Thursday. And since I am the person that the ministry had spoken to, and what was the request of the ministry, I made it known. And I said, the Prime Minister is interested in talking to the other three colonels. If the colonel for Flagstaff was here, then he would have been invited to the meeting as well.
Right.
Well, the colonel of a compound got out of the meeting the Thursday evening before it was concluded. And in another half an hour or so, he was on this thing. He's going to have a press briefing the next morning, the Friday morning, at 9 o'clock. When the meeting that was scheduled with the Prime Minister is for 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So we were seen as traitor. Since we came back, we tried every effort to basically say to him, look, these are the things, and these are the concerns of the Prime Minister. He wants us to come to a compound. We are saying, no, we are not coming to a compound, because the last secretariat meeting that we had was in a compound, and we tried to move it around from community to community. Even though it was held before he became colonel, doesn't matter seriously. And he has an issue with security to leave a compound because of security fear. When we appointed place in Kingston, he didn't show up. So we took a decision early on that, okay, fine. Colonel Atibodi and myself would have gone to a compound to speak to him.
You actually went to a compound?
No.
Okay.
This is a decision we took that would have gone.
Oh, okay. You took a decision there that you would go to a compound. Right.
In early May this month. Because Colonel Atibodi was off the island with a medical situation.
Right.
And he wouldn't get back until the 1st of May. So when he got back, you'd need a few more days to recuperate. And then we said, okay, we can take a journey there. So we were looking at somewhere about the 9th or the 10th or something like that of May. Well, this whole incident came up. So that was what it is. So I said all of that to say this. There is some sort of vendetta because we went to the Prime Minister without the colonel of our compound, right? So behind our back, he was planning to overthrow all the colonels in the Windward Maroon community.
All right, so hang on a sec there, because that is a statement that I cannot allow.
Okay,
right?
fine. So
because you have no proof of that, or you're not providing that evidence.
Okay,
right
fine.
Here.
So let me.
Right.
Let me take back that then, because I'm not gonna give you the evidence now. So I can substantiate it anywhere anyhow. But I don't want to do that now. So even this kind of situation, right? For you to leave where you are to come into Moortown to be actively campaigning against all the rules.
So the Maroon Council,
Yeah.
Mr. Former and Mr. Major, you were consciously aware that another colonel was in Moortown campaigning against the sitting colonel. You were aware of that?
I also see it.
You saw that? Mr. Foreman, you saw that?
No, I didn't saw it, you know.
All right, tell us what you saw, Major.
There was this colonel and followers from a compound going through all the Maroon communities campaigning for this young lady. People in the community also says to me that that guy with that big eye black van with those guys in there, where are they from? I said, I guess they are from a compound. You know, up at Comfort Castle, when the guy them come out of the van, everybody frightened, everybody have them think a butcher, them a go butcher. 'Cause everybody have big knife in a side and so forth and so on.
This is what you were told. You didn't see this yourself.
No, I see the van. I see
Right.
them come to my community, but you could not see anyone in the van.
So you can't say for sure that it was true, that they actually had that, but
Right.
you were told that.
You were told that.
But you saw that another colonel, you saw the colonel from Akompong.
Yeah.
You saw him campaigning against Colonel Sterling in Moortown.
Of course.
All right. What is a precedent for this? Can colonels, according to the bylaws and so on, can colonels go into other communities and campaign against a sitting colonel?
No, that is a no-no. It has never happened before. And for what? Well, I understand why it is being done. But
from your understanding, why is it being done? From what you understand?
Because as far as I can see and what I understood is that parading around as if though you are the chief for all Maroons. And you must have people in place that will do your biddings to be yes men to you. So, and I'm saying this, that I want Jamaica to take note. That the Maroon communities in Jamaica has been existing peacefully with the people and government of Jamaica for the last 200 years. And what I see emerging now, if we are not careful, Maroons and government might have to face off. And we in the Windward Maroon community are saying that this is not going to happen under our watch. We are not going to support anything, anybody, in any way, shape, nor form that is going to want to take on the government.
But shouldn't you be taking on the government, re-mining in the cockpit country, access to land?
Yes. No. But we can have civilized, peaceful mediation, negotiation, and discussion on all of these topics without have to resort to violence. And there are some persons who are purporting, running around, says no mining in the cockpit country and stuff like that. That's not what they want. They want to be in control of the mining. They can collect royalty from it.
Well, you know, I'm not going to disagree with you because, as you know, I have been part of the advocacy against mining in the cockpit country for a long time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that with those of us who have been fighting against this, is a struggle to get the Maroon communities to come on board. Now, we have documented information on that, so that it didn't happen overnight, and so that the point you make, we have been very well aware of this for some time because of where I personally stand in the fight against mining in the cockpit country. So I'm not going to ask you to take that back because you're right on that. The point, though, is that you're saying, Colonel, that it appears to you as if violence might enter the equation.
That is from where I sit. That is how I see it. From the arguments that are out there, and I mean, you must bear in mind that I will have some information that I won't necessarily share with you.
Why not?
Well, time will take care of just of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with time, we will see the things that come to the fore.
Yeah.
If people does not change course.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though, because do we have a break? We take a quick break. We take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Shamara.
The time brought to you by IRI FM is
now 7:49. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African, but a very engaging conversation with the Colonel and members of the Maroon Council. Colonel, make a whole point, little, and then come back to the Maroon Council.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about how the Maroon Council is set up. I want to talk about how, not just the process of elections, but what is the role of the Maroon Council? And do you have each Maroon community have their own Maroon Council, and then do you have an overall Maroon Council?
All right, okay. So every Maroon community, community as opposed to districts, because it's the districts that make up the community.
Right.
So in Moortown, there's quite a few districts that make up the Moortown Maroon Council. In Charlestown, it's the same thing. In Scottsdale, it's the same thing, right? Only thing that Moortown has more districts than the others.
Right.
So
Moortown is the biggest Maroon community?
In terms of size and population.
Okay.
Because you got to bear in mind, how you look at it, right? The upper part of the Rio Grande Valley. Not all the lands that are occupied by the Maroons are communally owned.
Mm-hmm.
Much more than half of the land is individually owned.
Right.
Where people have individual titles for those land.
Right, right.
But you are still Maroon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Understand.
Right. Yeah. So we have representatives from the different districts that makes up the council in Moortown, right? Okay, so that's how we operate, and that's how it has been all the time.
Yes.
And the same is true for the other Maroon communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is the council is the body that is responsible for governing the community. The colonel is just basically the head of the council, you know.
Right.
That's what the colonel is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it is a duty of the council to see to the overall development of the community. But since I have been there since '95, I can make a brief rundown of the things that we have done.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first thing, major action that we have taken, we have got done. As a matter of fact, when I took over office, there was a case that the former council had with some people. And they basically took the people to court, abandoned the case. So when they summoned me to come to court, because was in charge of the council now, I went there. I did not necessarily agree with it in the first place anyway. So I went there. I made no contest. I paid the money because not that the persons won, but because you prosecute them, but you arrest them and fail to prosecute the case, right?
Right.
So okay, we settled that. So I paid the money. So I started the deficit. But we got some assistance and we put up a small space, a workshop, where the abeng blower, the drum maker, teach people, and he does his other work there.
But we heard there's only one person can blow their abeng in Moortown. I think I saw that on the television news.
Yes.
But I just hear the foreman blow their abeng.
Was it this man?
No, it's not him. It's a young lady. Me here, so she's the only one who can blow their abeng. So, Mr. Foreman, how you take that son? You have your own abeng blow. You can blow the abeng, Chief?
I can blow it, but I'm not the abeng blower, so I don't really purport it to be.
Right.
He's the abeng blower.
Yes.
Yeah. But this abeng is older than all of us here. Combined age inside here.
Yes.
Is that so anyway. We were again.
Right. No, so you're saying some of the things that you have done, right?
So the things that we have done, right? We have, when JCIP come on board, just started, we went out and we managed to get basic school built in Moortown, Comfort Castle. Well, complete one in Ginger House. We would have done the one in Cornwall House, but there was some issue with the land that the school was on, and the issue was basically with the Anglican Church. Not necessarily the hierarchy of the Anglican Church, but the local leader of the Anglican Church. Anyway, we still get something done at the end of the day. The one in Seaman's Valley, something was done. We have managed to budge the government and get the road fixed from time to time.
Well, the road is still in a terrible condition, isn't it?
In most of the communities, but some places it's very good. But there's a stretch in Moortown leading from the junction up to where the monument is by the school. That is going to be fixed ASAP. We're going to get assistant to deal with the stairways at Manifold, which is basically an income earner for the community.
Right.
And we have.
So would you say, Colonel, that the challenge on your seat has also galvanized and propelled you to look at some of the issues? Are you man enough? Because that's the bottom line. Because obviously nothing not perfect, right?
Of course,
and
perfect.
Moortown is not perfect,
right?
But did that challenge, and in terms of some of the stuff that was said, did it kind of cause you to reflect and to say, well, I can do a bit more?
Well, I always think that I can always do a bit more.
Right.
No matter what you do, you are looking down the road to say what else you can do.
Yeah.
So look at what we have done in the time that we have been there.
Yeah.
One of the things. This person who purported to be the only habang blower and drum player in Moortown, we have in 2003 got from UNESCO a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity for the music of the Moortown Maroon. And none of those persons were involved in doing that.
Right.
In 2015, along with the government, all of these things are with the government, we have managed to get UNESCO again to declare the Blue and John Crow Mountain as a World Heritage Site.
Yes, that was good work.
Yes, it was done. Work. It was done without any of those habang blowers and drum players, as they say. So, to respond to these kind of hypocritical statement, then is that's the way I reckon.
Well, it is clear. Let me tell you something. It is very clear to us, and I'm looking to camera when I say this. It's very clear to us that it's the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. We call a spade right here, so we call it as we see it. In the same way, Colonel, that we say the treaty must not be celebrated in the way that the treaty is.
Okay.
In the same way that we ask you. Every time we interview you for the last 31 years,
50 years.
What are you going to do about how the treaty is being celebrated?
So I will answer that.
Right.
But I'll answer that, but I'm going to come to that. Let us look. Wait,
you can't answer it right now, because I'm not going to let you go without answering.
No. Let me finish this part, right? So we have, managed in early 2000 to improve the water supply that comes into Moortown. We do a new catchment in Cornwall Barracks. We improve the one in Millbank. We are presently improving, with the aid of Joseph, the one in Moortown again, that is in Seaman, that will bring water to Moortown, Seaman's Valley, and places in Windsor that is not getting an adequate supply of water now.
So what are the challenges? Challenges include that there's some communities, some districts without water still, right?
Well, okay. Here's what
not just in the Maroon community. This is a Jamaican problem, right?
Yes,
we know that. So we're not put it on your shoulder 100%.
Let me
but
say,
this is what I hear you saying. That there's some districts that still without running water.
Let me explain it a little bit more. You got to go back to the genesis of the thing. When pipelines were laid in the community originally in the 60s, it was for standpipe at the roadside.
Right, yes.
So everybody could have gone and get water. So 40 households would have used less water by the standpipe than the 40 households have the water in their homes.
Right.
So therefore, because of that improvement, the water that was supposed to serve, it becomes inadequate. So we took it upon ourselves, even though these water supplies were managed by the parish council, we took them over. And ever since we took them over, we are doing a far better.
You took the water management from the parish council? Wow, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Our control.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So we were getting water, okay, fine. First we were getting water in Moortown from Cornwall Barracks. That was for standpipe.
Yeah.
But it becomes inadequate. So what we did, we used the one at Seaman's Valley that was basically serving Windsor. That is from the 70s, right? And then coming into the 90s, we got some fundings from a foundation by the name of Horizon, and we got some more fundings from a USAID project known as Rich to Reef.
All right, so I'm hearing you with the water situation,
So-
but let me ask you this. What for you then are the main challenges now faced by the Moortown community?
Okay, fine. So one of the things people can look at, and this is a problem that affects all rural communities worldwide, the urban drift.
Yes.
So in order to stem the urban drift, you have to create employment opportunities within the rural areas.
Right.
So this is our plan going forward. We have been discussing with individuals, companies,
Right.
because we want to set up a chip factory in Moortown, where the old banana boxing plant was. And as soon as we finish this new water project, we're going to be starting the bottling of water. These are two projects that will bring income to the community, because the chip factory, we're going to do banana chips, plantain chips, breadfruit chips, dasheen chips, cassava chips, anything that the farmers can grow. And that way, people are not afraid of cultivating things, but
Yes.
you want a market, you want a outlet. So instead of persons from St. Mary and Kingston have to come into the community to buy bananas, we can produce the bananas there, so we can put the factory there. Okay, let us look at ecotourism, which is probably the easiest thing of all, right? We have a beautiful waterfall, which visitors do come.
Hold on, we'll come back to ecotourism. Let me
Yeah.
take a quick break. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Only Optical Elements has the latest technology lenses and frames to suit your taste and budget. Visit us at 67 Halfway Tree Road, online at opticalelementsja.com or call 929-8284. Optical Elements, vision in style. The time by Optical Elements is...
Just a minute after 8 o'clock, you're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African. All right,
Yeah.
we're back with the Inside of the Forum. So we have a half an hour.
Yes,
And we're going to ecotourism.
Yeah.
And we want to move from ecotourism to the treaty.
Yes,
we're going to talk about it, Colonel.
Yes, I'm going to talk
Right,
about it.
So let's talk about ecotourism. Yeah.
So ecotourism is what lends itself to us, meaning that we are ideally suited for that. So we look at how we can improve the approach to the waterfall that people come, and the funds are in place now to do some remedial work to the stairways. After that,
That's the stairways to
lead the waterfalls.
To the waterfalls.
We also have applied to JSIF to Ready 2 for an overall improvement, putting a gazebo, restroom, and kitchen.
Yeah.
Another thing that faces us is that many times when people come to the community, they expect to find it as it was 200 years ago or 250 years ago. And we are saying, no, we weren't locked away in some sort of time capsule. So what we have done, we have set lands aside that we are going to recreate what we consider a traditional Maroon community. Because
And I think that works well. We see them do that in Egypt, and isn't it brilliant when you
Yes.
go into Egypt and you can go into a place that is really representing ancient Kemet. And because Africans freed themselves and went to live in these communities, I think this is a brilliant idea. We say no Maroons come to Jamaica, as you know very well.
Yeah,
It's
and-
Africans who
and-
came to
and no,
Jamaica,
no, no, and-
Africans who freed themselves.
Yes.
And that, I think, is a good idea for ecotourism.
So those are things that
That's
we're
in the
going to do.
pipeline.
Yeah, and the pipeline is not so long, it's very short.
It's a short pipeline.
Yeah,
All
so,
right, okay.
so because most of the work is something that we can do ourselves, because we're going to be using indigenous material by and large.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. And if you look around now at the other things, right, that we have in terms of historical tourism, cultural tourism, people come, they want to see us play the drum, they want to see us sing, they want to see us dance, they want to do that.
So
And
Colonel,
the
where this
food.
angst come from? Where this confusion and conflict come from in the community? I've spent a lot of time in Moortown.
Yes,
you know that.
Yes,
but I've never really seen anything quite like this. Where this come from?
Andrea.
Kabu.
Pardon me.
Yes.
Kabu.
Yes.
I am telling you, and I'm telling Jamaica about the grand design that people want to have happen. But I am here saying that grand design is not going to include us in the Windward Maroon community. And I know it is not going to include the genuine well-respected people of a compound as well. It's gonna include some rogues. And that is what we want people to understand.
So there is, in essence, you're saying a threat to Maroon community sovereignty? Maroon community, individual community sovereignty. Is there a threat to this sovereignty? And when I say sovereignty, I mean the individual community, not necessarily speaking at the government level, but at your own leadership within the community.
As far as I am concerned, this threat is something that can be neutralized and dissipated easily. One of the things that we're going to do, the council, and we have taken a decision already, is going to invite those persons to a council meeting. Invite me to the council meeting as well. We sit down and we discuss this matter so that it doesn't rear its ugly head again. Because everybody would have got a clear understanding of what we're going to be doing. It's not,
so Major, so let me just ask Major. Major, is there, do you think there's a lack of respect for the council, for the Motown Maroon Council?
Of course there is. There's a lot of respect.
Not lot, I say lack. A lack of respect. Yeah, could it be that the council, the Motown Maroon Council, well, the council was disrespected from what you told me, right? Right.
It was.
The council was disrespected. So I'm asking, to what extent is there a lack of respect, that the council is not respected? To the extent that you could have this level of disrespect?
No, the council is not disrespected.
But the council was disrespected, Major.
By those people.
Okay, but not generally.
Claiming to don't know this and know that. Now, let's look even at that young lady. She born and grew in the district. And I can't recall she had ever come to a council meeting. And it's her community. She haven't grown anywhere else away from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but from some time, few years, they have been on that track.
Well, yes.
You know?
Yes.
They have been going that direction.
Well, it is true because we got the letters, we got the emails, so
yeah, you know,
we speak the truth.
So it continue to go that direction till they it reach where they get someone who can boost them. So they take it on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
But what I know, as the major, I am one who is supposed, with the council, to come to Colonel and say, Colonel, the community say they don't want you no more as a colonel.
Mm-hmm.
We can also, as the council alone, act for even a year until a colonel is appointed.
So you haven't been told by the community that they no longer want the colonel?
No, not as yet.
And so that, and there are options that you have. One, if you're told this by the community, then you communicate that to the colonel.
Of course.
The council can also unseat the colonel.
Yes,
and,
the council can.
And act as leader for a year at least.
Yeah, the
while
council can
another
do that.
colonel is
in the pipeline for electing.
Colonel, you've been a colonel for a very long time.
Yeah.
We have a very good relationship, so I have to make that known, yourself and myself, over the years,
right.
On this program and in this space. But do you see, does it have to be that you remain colonel for life? Do you see yourself exiting at any time?
It is not my belief and my concept that I should be there for life. The colonel that I succeed, when he retired, he was still around for another 20 odd years.
As a matter of fact, I interviewed him. I went into his I went into his living room and did a long interview with him. It was live. It was a live interview too. Yes. Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that, you know?
Yes.
But what I do believe in is harder. If things are to be done, they need to be done the way they had to be done.
So, but I'm asking, do you see yourself stepping down?
At some point in time, I will, of course.
Right.
But
you're saying you will not be forced?
Okay, fine. You can basically force me the way the bylaws are set, right?
Okay.
So there must come a time when I am no longer going to be there. Even if I'm living in the community, but I am not going to be the colonel.
So
because
what do you
because I, as an individual, there are things that I want to do, but being a colonel doesn't necessarily allow you enough time because it is time consuming. I can tell you that. Anybody can come to my home any hours of the night, want anything, a favor, and I will go do it. I do everything that I can as an individual for the community. I don't sit down and say, I am the colonel and I can't do this and I can't do that.
Right.
No
How many
job-
years now
yeah,
have you been colonel?
From 75 until now. 95 until now.
95
Yes, I
until
make
now.
it 27. But it's not fully 27, but let's
Right.
say that, yeah.
So are you the longest serving colonel right now?
In Jamaica. But I still do not exceed the time that the one that I succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I just
And
want to
neither
put
do
things
I
in perspective.
No, neither do I exceed the time that Prey was colonel in Scots Hall.
Right, Colonel
But-
Prey, yes.
Yeah, but let us get to the question now that you
That I want answered.
Yes. Yeah.
So right, just ahead of the break.
So-
So we're talking about
Yeah.
and look here, our listeners know this. You know this because I saw them laughing already. That and I suppose you all said to Colonel Miss Alicia, you know you're going down there and you know she's going to ask you about the treaty, right? But I have to do that because it's a conversation. You're the longest serving colonel in Jamaica right now.
Right.
It becomes your responsibility to lead this process,
So
in terms of what I know that within the Maroon communities, because we've had many conversations,
Right.
that there are many reasons why the treaty is celebrated. My question has always been, as someone who has ascended from a lineage of African Jamaicans who call themselves Arawaks and call themselves Maroons. That is my ascension.
Right.
Out of Scots Hall, out of Moortown,
Yeah.
out of a Kompong,
Right.
right? This is my ascension,
Yeah, and-
Plus out of Woodside, Rock Spring,
Yeah.
Tainos.
Right.
I think I have a right to ask this question
And
about that clause in the treaty.
Yeah.
And whether or not at some point, and look also at the involvement of our own people in the putting down of some of our wars for liberation and so on.
Okay, fine.
Should we be having a conversation
And-
about this at least?
And we have, at Waikol, from last August, we have been calling for sit-down, open and frank discussion on these matters. Because if we use the eye of a 21st century person to look at the things that happened in the 19th, the 18th, and the 20th century, we might miss the mark.
Right.
Because you have to look at the socio-economic condition that exists at that time. You have to look at the geopolitics that was at play. You have to look at the kind of relationships that exist between different groups. How this group saw that one, how that one saw the other one. And why people do the things that they did.
And even while you understand that, but not to excuse it.
Yeah.
To understand it, but not to excuse it.
No. I'm not excusing anything. I am saying that one of the biggest problems that we have in Jamaica is that our history was not taught in the way that it should have been. We still are using the European construct, the British construct. To deal,
There are some of us who have gone beyond the British construct, and so make we respect the space, right?
Yes.
Make we respect the space, because you would have known that I would have gone beyond the British construct. As far as somebody's phone is ringing, and the person is not around. So if you grab that phone for me, that's Mr. Wisdom's phone that's ringing off the hook.
So I think the time has come, and it's long past too, right? That these conversations should have been held. Because when we think about apology and to talk about this and that, if you look at the history, our foreparents were out there fighting. There were those who were fighting against them. I mean, if I fired and then I got my freedom, you was opposing me, do I owe you any obligation? You know, all of these things. So we got to be open and have frank discussion. And where
I do agree. I agree.
And where apologies is to be made, then apologies are made.
Right, because listen, this didn't start. This didn't start in Jamaica, you know.
I know.
This started on the continent of Africa.
Right.
And we have had and seen where African chiefs, I was there, Sister P was there, Mota Baruka was there, where African chiefs called all of Africa together. And in a process of a truth and reconciliation, identified that Africa was complicit and identified what their ancestors did. That one thing that still vexed us. And then, not just to apologize, but to even kill a goat. I was there. The blood on the thing, I was there. I recorded all of that. I reported on all of that. And to reconcile with us. And so that was done on continental Africa.
I know, I'm aware of it.
That carryover came to Jamaica. And so whether it might not necessarily be a conversation to be had on air, but you are the elder Maroon leader right now. And you have a responsibility before you step away.
If it is one thing I want to deal with, is that particular issue.
You tell me that all the while.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break, come forward. I'm going to take a break and we come.
But we are
come
closer
right
to
back.
it now.
We are? Yeah. Okay, well, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
When I need to order concrete for my big or small jobs, I order only solid concrete. Yes, solid concrete mix for my money. The time by Solid Concrete Mix is
now 16 after 8 o'clock.
Many of our brothers and sisters lose hope when diagnosed with HIV. Some lose their will to continue being a part of society. Others are despaired by the challenges of keeping up with their treatment. We understand. But remember, people with HIV live normal and progressive lives every day. You can too if you get back on track with your HIV treatment. Live for you, live for someone, live for something.
Get back on track, get back to life.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
All aboard! Cashpot Money Trainer run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the Cashpot pre-Labor Day Money Train now at Supreme Ventures.
All right, we're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and we're broadcasting live on the internet at irefm.net. We're streaming video stream live on all of our social media platforms. We're at irefmja on Facebook, irefm_ja on Instagram, irefm_ja on Twitter, and of course we are on the 107s, 107.1 all the way to 107.9, and we're going through until 10 o'clock with our live video stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for watching. And in the studio with me, Colonel Wallace Sterling of the Motown Maroons, Ivan Deans, Major of the Motown Maroon Council, Andrew Osborne, Foreman of the Motown Maroon Council, Alicia Julius, Assistant Secretary of the Motown Maroon Council. Alicia has been taking notes. Make sure you take the notes right, you know, Alicia, especially the part about the treaty. You heard the last thing. No, but you hear the Colonel. What was the last thing the Colonel? Give Alicia the phone for me, please. Alicia, could you read back for me, please, the last thing that the Colonel said?
About the treaty?
Yes, the very last thing that the Colonel said, because I don't want you to leave that off, you know.
Well, the Colonel will have to say it over because I didn't.
You see, Alicia never said, Colonel, you know the last thing you said? You said this.
Before I leave office, I want to have this whole matter come to whether have it discussed, and I believe if we discussed it with panels and in the Jamaican society, we can resolve all of these misunderstanding, this misgiving, and everything like that, because it is it is one thing to be going around having things being said and nobody is paying attention to it. But all the parties can sit down and we can have frank and open discussions on these matters. And as I stated before, that we have called for that. So I am glad that it is out there in the public domain now, like it is, because it means that to us, something has been ignited. And if it is ignited, we're not going to let when it reaches the embers and the fire burn out, then we start to kindle it.
Mm-hmm.
Let us deal with it now.
Mm-hmm.
And we put passions aside. But let's look at the thing, how it happened, why it happened, should it have happened, and those are the kind of discussion that we need to have, and we can move forward from there. If apologies has to be made here or there, apologies are made, and we move forward.
Yes, I kind of like what they did, and we can talk to Sister P about that. I have had a conversation with Sister P in recent times about this. She was there. Muta himself was there. I like what they did in Africa, right? This happened in Ghana in 1997. I like what they did because the literature is wide in terms of how Africans were forced into certain situations. Chinua Achebe himself talks about if the ships weren't on the shores, then Africans would not have been loaded onto them. So that is a responsibility of the enslaver. And you don't want to take the responsibility of slavery or the responsibility of the oppression on the plantations here in Jamaica, of enslavement of Africans, away from the enslavers, the wicked, wicked, wicked Europeans. They did what they did. We don't want to put that on black people any at all. But there was something happened that we have to face as a people, as it happened on the continent of Africa, and Africa faced it in 1997. I think that here in the Caribbean, here on the ground in Jamaica, this is something that we also have to face. I know what the different arguments are. We're clear on that. We've been having this conversation for 31 years. But we also are very, very clear that in the way that the Truth and Reconciliation was done in Africa, on the continent of Africa, the very same model can be used here in Jamaica. I am talking as someone who is ascended from people who call themselves, who later identify themselves as Maroons.
Okay, so, you know, when you look at this whole question, right? As I had stated before, we need to put any prejudicial thinking or thought or belief aside when we enter into this and deal with the pure facts, deal with the logics of the situation.
Exactly, yes.
And then, because for me, you know, life is always going to have problem, but you need to find a solution because the solution get rid of the problem.
Yes, and we have a fix. We have a fix. We talk about unity, but we have to fix all the little things or the major things within our communities, among ourselves. And one of the things is to do that privately. I don't think we necessarily have to trash it out on air. I think it's something that we do privately.
Yeah,
you know.
so that is why, you know, what happened like in Moortown when people would come on the air and they make a lot of noise and say a lot of things, I basically did not respond to a lot of it. Because at the end of the day, people felt aggrieved. There are many members of the community who think that, you know, as a colonel, I should have gone out there and crushed it just like that. And I'm saying, no. If people get their time in the sun and they want to make a fool of themselves, fine. That's your problem. At the end of the day, people will see exactly who you are. But, you know, there are things that I can talk about, but I'm not going to talk about them on here.
What is the relationship with you now and the colonel of their compound Maroons? What's the relationship like?
You know, I can't say we have a smooth relationship now. I think it is acrimonious at best.
Acrimonious?
Yeah, because I haven't spoken to him since the 1st of May when he came to Moortown. He came and he called to me. I was out in the field. I was doing some things. The phone service was not that good. So he said he came to visit his friend Alex and his wife. And I try to ask him, when are you leaving? Right? Because maybe I could have gotten back before. But then, people call and says, he was all over the place campaigning and things like that. I says, okay, fine. If you think he's smart, fine, go ahead, do it.
So right now, what's the relationship between you and the Colonel of Scots Hall?
The relationship is great. The one of Charlestown, the relationship
Charlestown
is great.
What about Flagstaff?
We have a great relationship with Grissom.
Colonel Grissom.
Yeah.
So that and the reason I'm asking this, is that we are better when we are united.
I know.
Regardless of the communities we're coming from. So this obviously is a situation that has to be mended quickly. What are the plans to mend it?
Well, one of the plans to mend this situation, first of all, as you said, you keep saying we must call a spade a spade. We will have to call a spade in this situation, right?
Yes.
And when White Coil put its statement out, which we're going to be doing shortly, we will see where it goes from there.
When who put their statement out?
The Yami Council of Indigenous Leaders.
Okay.
I just shortly use the acronym and say...
What's the acronym?
White Coil. YCOIL. Right?
Okay, White Coil. So when White Coil put their statement out, so you're part of White Coil, so you have an idea of what the statement is going to be?
Yeah, we will put a statement.
So when can we expect the statement?
Well, it's more than likely that it might be sometime during the course of this week.
All right. So give us an idea of what it's going to say.
Well, we will discuss what we have to say, and we formulate it there and then.
Yes.
Yeah. So, the thing is, there's always a seat for a compound there. We do not intend to throw a compound under the bus. But I must say this.
Yeah.
That it seems to us like a leader of a compound have taken no permanent resident under the bus. It is not us who push him under there. But it would seem to us that he's taking a resident under the bus. And we will urge him not to do, because the bus might crush him.
We want to give, and we have invited Colonel Curry of the Accompong Maroons here many times, and we want to extend that invitation to him again, and the same amount of time, if not more, in this space, if he so wishes. The space is always open. Right now, though, you're talking about the two biggest Maroon communities, Accompong and Moortown. Am I right?
Yes, but
right.
what happened should not have happened. You understand?
Yeah.
And
I can understand that.
I'm not a person who is prepared to have any long-term grudge in my heart against anybody.
Are you willing to sit down with Colonel Curry and to have a discussion?
Anything that can resolve a situation as an individual, I am prepared so to do. I don't believe that. Okay, so there's an African proverb say, "I do for do make Guinea nigga Jamaica." You have heard that one before?
Yeah, I hear that one before.
All right,
yes.
okay, fine.
Yeah. So here we are. We're totally out of time, but looking ahead, we're waiting to see what the Maroon Council, what the White Coil will put out,
right.
And that statement we're expecting later this week.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, though, the struggle continues. And when is the election? When is the next election in Moortown? What's the election date? Council? Major? We know? Is there an election anytime soon?
No, it hadn't come to my hearing as yet.
Right, no election. But when is the election due? Legally due?
There is no legal specification for any election.
The Maroon chief, the colonel is elected colonel for life.
Usually
you don't have an election. But you have election every 5 years or so in Moortown, don't you?
Not in Moortown.
In Accompong.
They elect to do so.
They decided to, but that's not the situation in Moortown.
That's not the situation.
Okay,
and that's a traditional way of doing it.
Yes.
So, because if you notice, if you look at elections in Jamaica, every 5 years you have a small disturbance.
Right.
We don't want that.
Right, okay. Point well taken. Colonel, it's good to see you again. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. Every time you come in, it's always an interesting conversation. I look forward to having many more with you. Major, Foreman, Assistant Secretary, thank you so much for coming in from Moortown. I know that it's far.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
We too will say Medasi.
Medasi. Akwaba. Thank you so much for coming in.
Welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you for having us.
All right. My pleasure. Listen up. Top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4. Hot pick and cash pot early bird draws are coming up next here inside of the Africa Forum. Our communities are in turmoil, but it might be that this turmoil is necessary for the change that we're about to see. Coming up in a short while, in just less than a minute, it will be time for the cash pot draw.
Your lucky day. Get your tickets out and let the games begin.
Good morning. It's Sunday, May 15, 2022. I am Deandra. Welcome to our Supreme Ventures Early Bird Game Draw. Before we begin, here's a quick look at last night's winning numbers. Remember, all the Supreme Ventures live draws are being supervised by the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm PwC. And now let's put some money in your top draw for $200,000. Here are the winning top draw numbers, so good luck, and here they come. The first number is 2, the second top draw number this morning, and it's the number 11. The third top draw number coming down for $200,000 is lucky number 1. The fourth number is 17, and the fifth and final top draw number for this Sunday morning, and it's the number 5. And now let's pick up their dollars game. I do hope you're feeling lucky, and here are the winning dollars numbers, so let's see how well you did. First up, we have the number 23, and then here comes the number 10. The third dollars number for this morning is the number 1. And then we're counting with the number 2. 2 is followed by the number 7. Next in line, we have the number 13. Coming down, and it's the number 11. 11 is followed by 36. And then we have the number 29. Up next, it's the number 18. And here comes the number 31. And we wrap things up this morning in our dollars game with the number 33. And now for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 games to get those tickets out. And here we go. The first Pick 2 number, and it's 31. The second Pick 2 number, and it's the number 9. So once again, the winning Pick 2 numbers for this morning are 31 and the number 9. Up next, you can play it 3 ways. It's, of course, our Pick 3 game. So here we go. The first Pick 3 number is 5. The second Pick 3 number coming right up, and it's the number 4. And the third and final Pick 3 number for this morning, and it's the number 6. So once again, the winning Pick 3 numbers are 5, 4, and the number 6. And now let's turn up your winnings with our Pick 4 game. The first Pick 4 number coming right up, and it's the number 4. The second Pick 4 number for this morning, and it's lucky number 3. The third Pick 4 number coming up, and it's the number 7. And the fourth and final Pick 4 number for this morning, and it's a 0. So once again, the winning Pick 4 numbers for this morning are 4, 3, 7, and 0. And of course, it's easy for wins. Let's heat things up with our hot pick game. And this morning's winning hot pick number is lucky number 9. So congratulations to all our hot pick winners. Again, the winning number is 9. And of course, Cashpot Money Trainer run. And this week, you can win $300 for every $10 winning Cashpot bet. Let's get ready to play our Cashpot game for Sunday, May 15, 2022. You live to play it, but can you win it? Get ready to be a big Cashpot winner. Let's see what the winning Cashpot number will be, and the early bird winning Cashpot number is, and here it comes, so what will it be? And it's lucky number 16. So congratulations to all our Cashpot winners. Again, the winning number is 16. And it's now time for some mega winnings, so good luck, and let's see what color ball is going to be selected this morning, and here it comes, and a mega ball has been selected. Remember, go mega 6 times per day for more chances to win big. Again, the winning cash pot number is 16. The lucky mark is a young girl, and a mega ball was selected for pick 3, pick 4 cash pot, and you guessed it, hot pick. And now let's take a look at the early bird winning numbers. Congratulations to everyone who won. And please do join us again at 10:30 for more games you love to play. I'm Deandra. Have a supreme morning.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
All right. That was the early bird top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot draws. Congratulations to all of today's winners. Join us again at 10:30 a.m. for another chance to win in top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot draws.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The temperature by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
27 degrees Celsius right here in Ocean Reyes.
For the best nursing home care for your loved ones, visit Nubian Life Care. It's a home away from home. Our caring and professional caregivers will ensure individual care and daily living assistance to your loved ones. We also provide home care services for those who want to stay in the comfort of their home. Everyone signing up this month will get a 25% discount for their first month. Nubian Life Care Services, 18 Maxfield Place, Runaway Bay, St. Anne. Call 876-783-2255 or email info@nubianlifenursinghome.com.
Michelle Montano, Dexter Daps, Casper Band, Spice,
And Ding Dong Ravers.
the greatest Caribbean lineup ever.
July 15th, 16th, and 17th. Featuring Marshall Montano, Kesta Band, Dexter Daps, Spice, and Ding Dong Ravers.
The vacation of vacations, all inclusive. Prices go up every week. Book now at brtweekend.com. That's brtweekend.com.
All aboard! Cashpot Money Train I run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the Cashpot pre-Labor Day Money Train now at Supreme Ventures.
The hot classic cover by the legendary Leroy Don Smart. Always and Forever. Now officially released on Spotify, Amazon, and all downloading platforms. Go get your copy now. Always and Forever by Leroy Don Smart.
And forever, each moment with you is just like a dream to me that somehow came true, yeah. And I know tomorrow will still be the same.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica presents Coming a This. It's fun, it's drama, and it's back.
I bring one of your juice for you. Thanks, my love. How you know it's my brand is? I'm a seed pan the kitchen counter last night.
Tune in on Tuesdays at 11:30 a.m. with a repeat on Thursdays 7:30 a.m. to find out what neighbors Angie and Jen are up to now as they continue to fight their way to a healthier life for themselves, their families, and their community.
Time I go, I have to move. Where you go? I want to catch Mikey early. School start, I have to stack up on my box juice then.
You don't want to miss it. So, Coming at This, brought to you by the Heart Foundation of Jamaica's Food Policy Program.
All right. We're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa and going through until 10 o'clock. That's when the big A comes in with the Sunday sunshine. My name is Kabu Ma'at Kheru. My producer this morning is Shamara Preston. As we go into the third segment of our program this morning. Once again, just to let you know that we are video streaming live this morning. We're live on all of our social media platforms. IRFM YouTube. We're live on Facebook. IRFM Jamaica. IRFM JA. We're live on Instagram. IRFM_JA. Also on Twitter. IRFM_JA. The entire team is in the house. Wilbert Wisdom, our engineer. Peter Broadba, who is responsible for all of this you see happening here on the live stream. DJ Kamar is at the console. Jody K. Tucker is at the board. Trishana Marsh, Shamara Preston in the house. In this segment of the program, we're going to be going into a discussion with my sister and friend, Gamaha Gloria Sims, Paramount Chieftain and Queen of the Maroons. We're going to go live to Suriname to speak with Kenrick Kheru, video creator, director, writer, entrepreneur, and dental technician. And we're hoping to go to Ghana, but I think we're having some problems there to speak with Ambassador Fidelia Grand Galon. If that doesn't happen, we'll still go through. In the house with us is my brother. Anywhere I go and I see this brother performing, you know, I have to stop and listen and dance and just take it on personally. This is how I am with my brother, Gawa Akinsanya Palmer. We're going to start with Akinsanya. He's a poet, he's a musician, he's a griot, he is all that and more. Gama Akinsanya, my brother, how you doing?
I'm on feel well in myself, you know.
And you're looking well in yourself. You're going to perform one of my favorite from your repertoire this morning. Tell us a little bit about it. Give us a background to the name and what it is.
Yeah, blessed love. Bushikunde, you know, it's a word that came from Suriname when Mama G went there in 2014, you know.
Yes.
It came back and she speak of the Bushikunde and it's like, she speak of the essence of it, you know.
Yes.
And after that, this is how it resonates, you know, within word sound, you know.
And you wrote an entire song, put it to lyric, put it to music, an entire poem. You're a poet yourself, put it to music. And this is Bushikunde. This is Akinsanya. Go ahead, my brother.
Aye.
Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde. We are Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde. Bushikunde is my Africa. Them say we are diaspora. Bushikunde scattered all over. Carried beyond the seas of the Americas. Bushikunde, oh. Bushikunde, Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde. Suriname, Five Nation, Bushikunde. Jamaica, Leeward, Windward, Bushikunde. Trinidad, American, Bushikunde. Belize, Garifuna, Bushikunde. South Carolina, Gully Goocha, Bushikunde. Canada, Nova Scotia, Bushikunde. Bushikunde in a Sierra Leone. Trans-deported found his way back home. Bushikunde, oh. Bushikunde, Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde. Bushikunde man, woman and child. Bushikunde knows how to survive. Bushikunde at top rank. Surviving mountain, river and swamp. Bushikunde, oh. Bushikunde. We are Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde. We are Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde. Sister Nani, Bushikunde. Captain Kojo, Bushikunde. Captain Kwao, Bushikunde. Captain Kompong, Bushikunde. Bushikunde, oh. Bushikunde. Bushikunde. Liberation, Bushikunde.
Wow. As I said before, every time I hear Bushikunde, you know, that song really, really, really holds me. It appeals to me at a whole other level. So thank you for doing this. And for writing the poem and for putting it to that beautiful, beautiful tune.
Yeah, man, it does flow. Because, you know, every creation, every poem, every song is already written.
Exactly.
Just to tap into the spirit. And Grandma Mama G brought it forward.
Yes.
Because she was saying, they said, that woman, the Bushikunde, that Jamaican, she couldn't understand everything. But when they said, that woman, the hoe, and Bushikunde, the Bushikunde, that Trinidad, you know.
Yes.
Bushikunde, that Belize, Bushikunde, that Jamaica, Bushikunde, yeah, Jamaica, Bushikunde, Bushikunde. And so some of the
Suriname, Bushikunde.
Yeah, we're getting that. Bushikunde is the resisted ones all over in the diaspora, you know.
Yes.
So that is the spirit.
Brilliant. Brilliant, my brother. So one next poem quickly having in your head? We know you're a poet and you must have one or two in your head, you know. Man. So we're putting you on the spot, but hey, yes. Tell me when you find it. I can go on ad-lib till you find it. I'll just put him on the spot, you know.
She's this one. We write for the Queen Nanny. We're going to do a verse.
Yes.
Hail the Royal Ashanti Queen. Yeah, for the liberation struggle. Queen Nanny never sell out. Queen Nanny never sell out.
Never signed a treaty.
Queen Ashanti never sell we out. Ashanti Bushikunde Queen a sell out. She never signed no peace treaty for the beast come leave treaty. She never signed no papers nor clause to commit treason nor fraud. She never signed away our birthright. She knows best what to sign. So she never sell out. Bushikunde never sell out. Ashanti Bushikunde never sell we out. Mama, Never sell you out. She
Never
never
sell
signed.
you out. Never
She
sell
was
you
not
out.
into the trick and treat.
No, no. As a matter of fact, we know that in the oral tradition of the ancient Africans, who later on came to take on the mantra of Maroons, that in the oral tradition, Queen Nana walked from Motown to Achempong to say, this is not the right way to go. That is in the oral tradition. And our oral historian, who's written about this now, Beverly Cleary, has documented that. I've interviewed her, as you know, many times about how Queen Nana, who we call Nani, dealt with all of this, her response to it. And so you're right.
Yeah, man,
Never sell out.
It's within a track I have released online to Queen Nani. We spell the Queen Kween.
Yes.
Certain different Nani,
Right.
Nani.
Right.
And the
There you
male and
go.
the
There you
feminine
go.
aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know? So check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. Gama Akinsanya
Queen Nani.
in the house. My sister, Gama Gloria Sims, in the house again. Thank you so much, Gloria, for coming in. Online, our brother, Kenrick Kheru, video creator, director, writer, entrepreneur, dental technician. My brother, Kenrick Kheru, good morning to you. Welcome to the Africa Forum. You are in Suriname.
Greetings, sister. Ancestral greetings to all of you. First of all, I'd like to apologize for my poor English because I'm originally Dutch, so my grammar is not that good. So you forgive me if I make a mistake.
My brother, let's forgive each other because we're speaking the white man's tongue.
All right. So
Yes.
I'll give you a part of my Mibali Wang Obala. Obala na tade na okokolo sampani. Okokolo sampani dang dundu se ben kuma da die kantang klang. Dang troki hankara na busuma futemina blauye. I just said I'm greeting you because the night has passed and the day has set. No, it's clear now. So greetings to all of you. So we have the chance again to discuss with each other and to talk with each other. So greetings, greetings, greetings.
Thank you so much for joining us from Suriname. Before we go any further, let me just quickly talk about something that is out there in the public domain. And as I heard my brother talking in our tongue just now, I am reminded of it, that we are seeing in the news today that, and this happened, well, we saw it in the news yesterday, that Jamaica's Minister of Foreign Affairs is now the newly installed Queen of Tourism and Diaspora. Kamina Johnson-Smith is no longer Kamina Johnson-Smith. She is Nana Abena Otwiwa Aseidu. And she was installed at the Royal Palace of His Royal Majesty Osadio Kwesi Akufo III Okupahine. So when Kamina Johnson-Smith returns to Jamaica as Queen, as Nana Abena Otitwa Asedu, we welcome her and we hope to see how this name change and this installment will guide her policies, her response to issues regarding Windrush, regarding reparations, regarding the Commonwealth, because she has now taken on the mantra, the name, and the identity of the ancient African queens. This is some serious business. Gamma Pernell Charles did the same thing. Remember? He was crowned, installed in Nigeria. Did it make any difference? Talking a microphone there, got my sister.
I never see that difference and I never hear.
We're hardly hearing you. Wonder if your mic is not on. All right, so you
never see that difference and never hear of any difference after.
Right. So let us see what difference this makes.
So
We're expecting a lot from Queen. What's her name again? What's the name I gave? From
Nana Kwabena.
Thank you, my brother in Suriname. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right, we're expecting a lot from her.
Okay.
We're expecting a lot from her when she comes in.
Let's
And
hope the installment extend over this side.
let it extend. Hope it extends to this side.
Yes, and don't just stay over.
And just stay in Ghana. Well, look here. Those who take on the ancient African names and sit on the replicas of the golden stool must determine their own fate. And it's about time that we call these things into being. So we call that into being. The stool that Kamina was installed on and is now an African queen mother. It's a spiritual space. And regardless of what they do in Ghana, because they do a lot of this for tourism, in the name of Africa, Kamina must understand herself when she comes in. All right, that's all I'm going to say for now on that. We're moving to another section now where, Gama, the last thing we said to Colonel Sterling before he left, the last thing we talked about was really about the treaty, was really about the need for truth and reconciliation. We want to pick up there and then to go forward to your own installment as Gama and what it means. And then our brother from Suriname will also come in and talk to us a little bit about that. Yes. But we're starting there because you have gone out and apologized. Microphone, you have to talk.
Yeah. Yes, that has happened, you know.
What made you do it?
Well, it's a story. One of the things that pushed me was this thing with Taki, the National Day. Tachi, Chief Tachi. And when I see how the story was written, and it was left there like we know Charlestown, Scottsall, and Moortown, Maroon was the one who ran down Chief Tachi and then cut off his head. And I said, wow. And it was a national.
Although in our oral tradition, Tachi never died away, they still. Yeah. In our world history. Okay. So it's something that we have to revisit, I think, ourselves.
So much stories.
Because hence Tachi Falls. And we must talk about Tachi Falls and the caves there and where those caves lead. But I know the history.
In Islington as well.
I know. Remember them days there? So, and not far from Tachi Falls yourself.
Not far,
Right,
so,
yes.
So I know the whole history. I actually live in that era for quite a few years.
Right. And you'd have been to the falls yourself many, many times.
Many times, spiritually as well, you know. Spiritually as well.
In the oral history, it is said that Tachi actually leapt from that falls, that he went through the caves.
Yes.
That's our oral history. But you're saying this? It's a way in which rebellions and liberation struggles were put down in Jamaica and how our people were used.
Things happen, as always in these times. Things that you generally, when you look back, you don't really want to take responsibilities for them. But these things, when in war, you can actually push down your own mother. You know?
Yeah, right.
It's war.
We see that a lot.
So when I look at it, it didn't sit well with me, and I immediately go into my spirit. And I said, this is not good, because even in Charlestown, we accommodate a lot of school children. And if this is going down on that level as a national day, we know that it's going to very well be taught in the school. And the children is coming to us, and what is that? And I'm very concerned most time, we have to deal with the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
And sometimes we talk about our rights, but there's also obligation that we owe, within looking at the past, and know that we have to set a pace for the future, for our children. And I look at it and I said, all kind of things start flip through my head. I'm saying there at the time there's a lot of violent in the school, children stabbing other children in school, and some of these can be just an apology could maybe stop some of these things. And we are not I have grandchildren to deal with, and one of the hardest time is when they do something and you say apologize. You have to sometimes stand up on them to do this apology.
Yeah.
So we know what is apology, apology go, you know. At the same time, we know the old stories, the black shot stories, the all kind. But if you continue going through stories, you will never take responsibility sometimes. You know, you have to take a stand. Name has been mentioned. It has been left there many years. Nothing has been said. Nothing has been done.
Right.
Nobody's dealing with it.
And the apology, just so our listeners know, the apology that you made, as we put this in context, is that you apologized for what exactly?
For the fact that, but when you look at the treaty, the same thing they said was mentioned in the treaty, in the clause. So even if the hack was not committed, the fact that you had agreed in the first place to something like that is something for us to look back.
And that's a clause in the treaty that talks about returning runaway enslaved Africans to the plantations.
Right, and that was so much conflict of interest right there because they themselves had been in that spot why they were even fighting the battle. They were runaway slaves that rebel. Some of them, you know, not all, but some of them run away and rebel, and the whole battle started. So it was something to be pushed back to take action against the same thing that help you. So I know the feelings, you know, that hang on both sides. I know the feelings that hang with our ancestors and in a situation like that.
Gamma Gloria Sims, you know, as I said to you on the phone, and not even I can stand and know how long we know each other. We've known each other for a very, very long time. You talk about living in Islington.
Sister Minnie days.
But before Sister Minnie, it's from
before
the
that,
days in
yes.
Islington.
Yes.
So so we've come a long way.
Yes.
And we've been good friends along the way. One of the things, and I think one of the few things that we disagreed on for many years, and I think I have to put that out there, is this very same thing we are talking about.
Yes.
The apology is that you were adamant that the apology was not necessary many years ago, and up to recent years, and we disagreed on that. Sometimes we never talk either. Short malice, right? Yes, so we must talk the truth. Look here, we're going to talk the truth. Yes,
it's true. That relationship that we had before wasn't like so
it get affected. The treaty affect the relationship.
Yes,
bad. No lie, me and Gloria. The treaty they affect the relationship on a
man.
serious level because she was saying the apology is not needed, and I was saying that we need truth and reconciliation.
True.
Now, when I saw in the newspaper that morning, because you're not going to tell me, I saw it in the newspaper and I put out the sound and said, no, call me, because it was shocking to me to see that you had come to this place. Why now? Why now?
Well, I think, you know, it's on and off, you know, talking with the Maroon, with the colonels, them from time to time, sometimes not together, but one-to-one with them, and they would always say, Colonel Frank Lumsden, that the apology is not something that they should do. And so, you know, I was more looking at how they see it.
Yes.
But I had talked in Hope because I was invited some years to the to a function with Paul Bogle, and I was moved to really talk in the manner that,
so it has been a process for you.
It has been a
so
process.
Even when you have fight me up,
it was a process.
And that is what me realize
no,
now.
But
that
you know, truth stand right walk with us, you
I
know.
know.
And so we have to look at things sometime from certain level, and we have to look at the legacy we left in for our children also.
Point well taken. Let us take a quick break because you apologized under your official position and in your official capacity as
spiritual leader.
As spiritual leader,
Yes.
Gamma. And so we're going to go to Suriname to find out what that is and all of that when we come back from the break. So a quick
Get
break.
the best foreign exchange rates when you change your dollars at any 6 Lasco Cambio location island-wide, including the Red Hills Road drive-through. The time by Lasco Cambio is...
Now,
the
3
time
minutes
brought
after
to
9
you
o'clock.
by IRIFM is...
It's 3 minutes after 9 o'clock. You're inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running Africa, and very happy to have in the studio with me my sister Gamma Gloria Sims, Paramount Chieftain and Queen of the Maroons. It's a title, these titles, that the Maroon colonels in Jamaica have said that they do not recognize.
I understand them very well, and it's been 7 years and going into the next 7 years. So I've been there. I've hold my space, and I don't try to impose this on them. I work at my capacity with the Maroon Women's Group that I work with. Yeah.
This is a title that you were given in Suriname, and you were installed, did they call it installed?
Yes.
Here in Jamaica. Installed here in
Yes.
Jamaica. I was there.
Yes.
I saw that. I witnessed
Yes.
that. I bore
Yes.
witness to that. So let me go to our brother Kheru, who is in Suriname. My brother, once again, help us to understand what the spiritual leader, what the Gama, what this title that was bestowed on our sister Gama Gloria Sims, what it is and how it came about.
First of all, thanks for the opportunity and that I can speak on this matter. In Suriname, when we talk about the Gaman, we're talking about a paramount chief. That's when we're talking about Suriname. But Suriname has its own political system in the Maroon society. We have 6 different Maroon peoples in Suriname, and the Samaka people, they are the biggest one. So the Gamanship in Suriname is like a paramount chief, but that is already fixed because it's a whole group of people. You have like the Gaman, then you have beneath him, you have other ranks. That is in Suriname. When it comes to Mama G, Gama Mama G, she is spiritually, she was, how you say it? So should I say detected? No. But she came in contact
recognized.
She's saying recognized.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I say. My English is not that good because I'm Dutch. So
yes.
She was recognized by Papa Abani. He was one of the elders who taught me a lot. So they met, and in spirit, he saw that there was something in this lady. And they spoke, and after a while, he came back to Suriname. And they didn't meet up after, I think it was 12 years. Mama G came to Suriname, and she was looking for this Mr. Abani. And all of a sudden, she walked up to me, and she asked me if I know him. I said, yes, I know Abani. He's one of my gurus. So I called him, and I made an appointment. And when they met up, I do understand when they meet in spirit, they speak a different language. So I have it on videotape, what happened that day. And from there, they went to the interior, to the paramount chief of the Samaka people. That's the biggest Maroon people in Suriname. And he saw spiritually what is in Mama G. And he brought it to his council, and they agreed that they would give her the title of Gaman. Not that it would become that she would overthrow any paramount chief in Jamaica, no, but the spirit that they saw in Mama G and the spirit they communicated with, because it's not just they saw it, they conversate. And will exchange each other.
All right, so you're freezing a bit there, but what a story! If you're still hearing me. All right,
I'm hearing you clear.
Right, so but you just
put out my
froze.
video and I could hear it?
No, that's fine. You froze for a minute, but we're hearing and seeing you now. So go ahead.
Yes, so I said when the paramount chief of Suriname now, Gaman, his name was Gaman Belfong Aboykoni. He is the one who said, this lady, we will give her the Gamanship. And he didn't do it on his own. He consulted his council, and then he brought it to another Maroon community, the Okanisi people, and they had the eldest Gaman at that time. So they agreed on it, that okay, is what we will do. And that's why they didn't do it in Suriname, but they sent people to Jamaica. And if you could, I heard you just said you were there. The guy on the drums is not just a drummer. It's our talking drum, and that drum is speaking. Actually, what he plays on the drum is the language our ancestors understand. And that's the way they install a gaman here spiritually. So spiritually, they installed Mama G as the spiritual lady. That's it. So she's not there to overthrow anybody, I think.
So, and this is very clear. I mean, the understanding of this, and as a spiritual leader,
Right.
that Suriname, the elders in Suriname, that they saw this, the ancients, they saw this
Right.
in her, and that they determined through consultation that they
Right.
would make her a garment, and came and
Right.
and they were sent to Jamaica. Obviously, this would have cost a bit,
Yes.
So you didn't just get up from Suriname and find yourselves in
No,
Jamaica.
no,
You
no,
were
no,
all
no.
sent to Jamaica to install our sister Gloria Sims as Gaman.
Right.
Gaman.
Right. Yes. Well, that's it. It was well discussed between the two biggest Maroon groups, and what I said, the one of them was the oldest sitting Gaman at that time, and they gave their yes. And spiritually, in our tradition, we don't just say something. We have our shrines and where we go and consult just to like a double check or to double check if this what we saw. Okay, if this happened, then this is it.
Yes.
So that it happened.
Yes.
So that's why she is Gama now, and our paramount chief would not just send one of his highest ranked people to Jamaica. That was Dabaya Gazong. He was there, and the drummer is one of the best in Suriname. The guy on the Apinti drum.
Can you
So
talk to us
it-
about what that entails? I was there, of course. I bore witness. I was there.
Yes.
I'm happy that I was. But talk us for listeners who do not know what that ceremony was like, what the process was like. You talk about the drummers, but the ceremony itself.
In Suriname, the ceremony is mostly like your first of all the drummer plays on his drum, and he's asking permission to speak to the elders. We say I begi pi misi futakyanga de dekonde. He's asking permission to speak with the ancestor spirits. So when that opening is there, he will tell them on the drum, and that's we call apinti dong. In apinti language, he will tell them that they're installing someone. And when it's a male, the drum does play different. And even if you're not there, but you're listening, you say, hey, they're playing a drum about a woman or a female. And if it was a male, the drum would be different. But so the drumming actually is that make that spiritual connection. And you see, they put our name, we call it Pimba, on her feet. That's the way we do it. That's just to I cannot give everything, but that's
But a
to
good
give-
synopsis, yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
that's actually the way it goes here.
Yeah. All right. Gaman, it was a beautiful ceremony. I witnessed that. I'm very happy that I was there. What was it like for you? Talk us through what happened before, because you were in your regal dress and so on, and then tell our listeners what happened. Just because this is real, this wasn't made up. This happened. Tell us what it was like, that process, what it included.
It all began in Suriname, when we went there, invited by the Maroon Woman Chambers, Maroon Woman Network, because I have the Maroon Woman's group here, and Her Excellency Ma Fidelia Grangalan, who was ambassador from Suriname to Trinidad. She came to our conference, and she was asking for the Maroon Women Chief, because in Suriname you have a lot of Maroon Women Chief.
Yes.
And so everyone was telling her about Mama G, and so we met, And she was very happy to meet me and to know that I have a woman's group here because she started the Maroon Woman Network there. And we went into a meeting before she left here with Colonel Lumsden in Kingston here, and we reasoned, and she said she want me to come into Suriname. So then and there she invited me. She actually paid for my ticket out of her pocket. She was still in Trinidad, and I went in. I was received from the airport.
I remember when you were going into Suriname, we
Yes.
interviewed you before you left, and we
Right.
interviewed you while you were there
Right.
in Suriname.
I was received from the airport by a Maroon woman who is air hostess in the airport straight through
Right.
and to into Suriname. And then we went there. We had a Grand Kutu, which is what they call conference. They said Grand Kutu. So we went to this woman conference. Kenrich was there as well. That's when I asked him about a Barney who I've met in a compound. I went there with Sister Minnie some years ago. And that was an old experience,
Yes,
you know.
yes, yes.
Something else to talk about.
Yes.
So anyway, I was pressed to ask Kenrich about a Barney that day. When I left him, I was speaking to him before, and when I left him, he said, why you don't ask him about a Barney? And I run back to him. I said, do you know a Barney? And it was the first time from I went there that somebody said, yes, they know a Barney. And he called him same time. Anyway, we went to the Gaman. Whenever we sign a memorandum at this conference with Trinidad American group that is there, and Suriname, and Jamaican Maroon women. We signed this memorandum of cooperation to work together, doing some sustainable development, trading and all these things, and cultural exchange and these things. So anyway, when we sign a document, we have to take it to a gaman. So we went, and when you go into the gaman, you have to go and you have to take him gifts. So we went to get gifts for him. And a whole boat with other women.
Because you're talking about a similar thing, the Paramount
in
Chief.
Suriname,
Like
right.
if you're in Ghana, this would be the Paramount
Right.
Chief,
We're
right?
going
Yes.
to see. And we went there to show him the document that we had signed, because when you do these things, it's good for you to consult a gaman. He's like an advisor, counselor, and, you know. So we went there with this document. All I know, I was just going with the document. When we went there, they give us a crash course the evening when we went there of how to the protocol of the gaman. So the protocol in the crash course is that you don't speak to the gaman direct. You have to speak through
the interpreter.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, I sit beside the gaman, and when I come out, I was dressed in my burlap just like this. And when I come out, he was like in a different world, and he was conversing with me, and I wasn't answering because the crash course is you don't talk to him. So he keep talking, saying something to me until eventually he pulled my hands to him, and he blow in my hands like this, my clothes hand, like, you know, you close your hand in prayers 3 times. And then I was very astonished. I started to look around, I started to look at him. I was wondering what was happening. And then he pulled me back and he said, when you see me do like this, I just pass the gamanship to you. I don't know what gamanship is. I still don't answer him. I sit there. I want to talk to Ma Fidelia, who is my interpreter there. So eventually I get a chance. I said, Ma Fidelia, you know, gaman has done this and he said this. She said, she was so surprised, and it was a big surprise in the place. And so I was wondering if I got myself in trouble now. What is happening?
Hold it right there, my sister. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with much more inside of the Africa Forum.
Do you know someone who died without making a will? Did that person leave assets and children under 18 years old? If so, report the death to the Administrator General's Department. That's the Administrator General's Department, securing your legacy. The time by the Administrator General's Department is
17 now after 9 o'clock.
Quick Fit Tires. Quick Fit Tires, in partnership with the Tire Warehouse and Maxis, provide the best in digital wheel balancing, tire changing, patching, plugging, and much more. Quick Fit Tires, Shooter Kellett's Clarendon, is powered by Touch and Lego Entertainment, the Tire Giant. Call us at 876-325-5317.
Cashpot Money Train, I run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till Until May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the cash pot pre-Labor Day money train now at Supreme Ventures.
The Tile Arcade is having a grand opening sale starting May 2nd at its new location at Bogue Industrial Estate beside Mafisanti Builders. Sale on wall tiles, floor tiles, porcelain, and much, much more. So come on down and check out our new location at Bogue Industrial Estate beside Mafisanti Builders. Call or WhatsApp today, 807-8840. The Tile Arcade, creating beautiful homes.
I did a crazy attack. You see me is a real G, real go-getter. My life move non-stop. So me have to stay link and floor yard and road. And my connect. And one plan link me up at home with Wi-Fi and on my mobile. With data and calls to any network. At my yard, non-stop streaming my vibes. Are studying from a picnic them and out the road. And non-stop vibes, same way. Flow connect me non-stop for as little as $3,999 a month. Plus GCT, I forget it. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
King Jailo, Jailo. King Jailo, Jailo. King Jailo, Jailo.
Oh boy. Oh boy, we love this one. Everybody a dance now, come on. So you may as well just make it play a little more because all Kenrich now so a dance. You may as well make it You may as well make it play a little more. We're loving it, 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 we're loving it. We are loving it. All right. So Kenrich, in Suriname, so when the Gaman, the Paramount Chief in Suriname, blew in our sister Gloria's close, prayerful clasp and talked about Gaman, she said she was wondering after she said it to others, because of their response, if she had done anything wrong. And yeah. What does this say to you?
As coming from a different culture, she didn't know what those things mean.
No.
But we who are close to it know what was happening at that time. Or that's the way you pass on certain things to other people. We do it differently. Sometimes he would be. I will give you that way how he blew it, and also someone with some rum, he will put his hand upstairs, and they would like throw the rum, and the rum, he washing his hands into her hand would be the same thing, would be the same effect, like passing it on to her and then rubbing her hands. That's the way. So
that was done on.
That was how they do it with rum.
That was done also because after he done that, he sent them to take me down to the Obia house there.
Yeah,
and
to the Ponsu.
And then they did
to the shrine. There you do it
shrine,
at the shrine.
and then they did it in there again.
I just like what Gloria said to the Obia house.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what they told.
Let me, if I could make something clear. When we in Suriname talk about Obia, we don't mean nothing bad.
Oh no, I know. I know that.
We mean something, but no, but some people.
In Jamaica, it is frowned upon. In a whole different. But we know that Obi made God man.
Why the fright was in the place is that it was the first time that it was ever given to a woman.
Right.
So they were
that
very
was their response.
astonished that the tradition was broken to give it to me. So Ma Fidela was very frightened.
So this is a spiritual leadership position.
It's a spiritual leadership.
What is the title exactly? Kenrich? What's the title?
In Suriname, we spell it GAANMAN. Ganman.
Yeah.
That's the way we spell it in Suriname.
Right. Gloria, you spell it with a G.
I spell it GAAMAA because that's the first that he give to a woman, and I want it to...
A-A-N-G, so you add a G at the end.
Yeah.
Right, so our sister...
So as to identify with me as a female, so that's how the spelling of it goes. But in Suriname, it's a big, very elaborate position, and amongst the Maroon there.
All right. So in Jamaica, I was there for the installment, as I said. That was a really, really exquisite
That's
ceremony.
beautiful, yes.
I think Akin Sanya was there too.
Yes, he did it with me, yes.
Yeah, man, because...
Akin Sanya, you never see me, but me see you.
Because they didn't want to leave me as a woman, and that's Suriname.
Right.
She
you were installed at the same time.
Yeah, man, because they're doing a balance, you know,
Right,
to complete
male,
the male
female.
and the female.
I
so
heard when they said
when
that.
Mama G came back, she said, Akin, you know, I get the honors, you know, and you kind of flash a bit. Me say, kind of normal. She always get the
Right.
honors anyway. Then she said, but they have to come and ask you, like, permission.
Right.
Like, they would allow it.
Because because we know
Yes.
flex them way in Jamaica.
Yeah, no.
You see me?
Yes, so they were saying, you know, because I never given to our empress, so they said
Yes.
they want to ask the king man, you know.
Yes.
And so they install him with me so that there will be
Yeah,
a
so you
balance.
installed at the same time. So I saw
Yeah,
that.
man, we did.
And
I
But
witnessed
there are
that.
parts you didn't see, you know.
Which part? Oh, there was a part that was
At
off
the
stage.
river.
By the river.
By the river.
They give us a bath at the river with herbs that they brought
I was
from
not
Suriname.
invited.
Yeah.
If I
I
may
just kind of
interrupt,
very-
Years
if I
ago
may
to us,
interrupt,
that's
Yes.
ceremonies.
if I may interrupt,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Kenwick. Well, you're frozen for a minute there, but I'm
there
sure.
are some that willful,
All right.
and
Just,
there's certain things. Maybe granny said talk off and left off.
Talk off, left off.
it's a talk off, left off. Well, yes,
That's
talk off,
the
left off. So,
part
then
of the river.
so we got half of it, but we weren't at the river.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that was not for everybody.
Yes.
That was not for everyone. That was spiritually, very spiritual.
Right.
Yeah,
Were
so
you-
we
you
don't
did-
really
were you at the
talk
river?
about that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is Lima, Dane Henry. She's from the Scotsall Maroon, but she's also the mother of the captain Rodney Rose in Charlestown, and the mother-in-law of the colonel in Charlestown.
Of Latibode?
No, Colonel Marcia Douglas.
Oh, in Charlestown. Sorry,
Right.
we're in Scotsall.
So she's from
Right, I know
Scotsall.
you very well. Yes. We
And the mother of some beautiful Maroon children,
Yes,
including
yes.
Rodney and others who
Right.
she's a dancer, spiritual dancer and everything. She was the woman who stand up to make the connection here in Jamaica. When they called for a woman to come on the stage to connect the two countries, she was the one who stand up for me.
What was that like
So-
for you? Lena, your microphone for a minute there.
That was
Speaking of mic.
Yes, that
Straight up
was-
to your mouth.
That was great and feel so wonderful to be with Gaman. At that
You're very
time.
active in the community.
Yes.
You know, so I can just imagine you making that stand,
Yes.
and standing by our sister all this while. But how do you feel that she's not, and the title and that whole process is not recognized by the leadership of all the other Maroon communities in Jamaica?
I don't feel so good about that.
Yeah.
And they must look into themselves and recognize as Mama G because she don't dare to take anything from nobody.
Right, and as you were saying before, Kenridge, I mean, it's not a position
Yeah.
where you come unseat anyone. It
Yeah.
really is about a spiritual position. Mama G, it is within that context that you made the apology. It is within that context as a spiritual leader named so by the paramount chief in Suriname
Yes.
that you made this apology. What kind of responses are you seeing so far, or hearing from the wider Maroon community?
Mix, and most of them don't really see it, as something. But I'm like that. I always foresee things, and most time that I move out of what I foresee, and I move. And I'm also a person that is a medium for the ancestral spirit, where they will come upon me like that. My work coming down with Sister Minnie and the ancestor remains that went back into Ghana and was very active, a part of it in the spiritual background, working as a traditional priestess. As Ellen Gifford would tell you that when she recognized me the first time she see me, she called me and she said, "Do you know who you are? You are a traditional priestess. I see you how you dance and how you join the line. you are that, and you know, she has spent
And one of
many
the things
times.
that you have, and you mentioned these two stalwarts, and you have been with the elders, the women, Sister
Right.
P,
Yes.
Sister Minnie,
Yes.
Eileen Thomas Gifford, as
Right.
you pointed out just now. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, didn't you live in Moortown for a while?
I spend a lot of times up there with Ellen
Yeah.
Gifford. Spend
Yeah.
a lot of time spiritually move, do things. I remember one time I got a vision and I was there all week trying to settle down. I went there with my drum underneath my arm and I was in the town walking up and down. Everybody was following me around until finally when I get to bring the message, I end up on the monuments and the message was return to your ancient order. Return to your... I was shouting that out. Because my grandmother was a Warner from Maroon town, that is...
In Flagstaff.
Yeah, Flagstaff. She was a spiritual Warner that go over Jamaica whenever she get message with her drum.
We
And
don't see the spiritual warners anymore. What
yeah.
happened?
Not around, they get afraid to come out.
Yeah, we don't
You
see.
know?
But
that's
and these
part
weren't
of
we're
our
not talking about
culture.
Christianity now, we're
Yes.
talking about ancient African
Yeah, they would
spiritual
take message to
warners,
community
yeah.
when they get message. If anything is gonna happen in the community, my grandmother was that they say she have goat mouth. Anything she said was gonna come true. So I'm
We
from
need-
that
yes.
that roots, you know.
yeah.
So the spirit used me very much. I'm a spiritual person. I'm always
Yes.
praying. I always have my altar hope, you know.
I can totally
Yeah.
relate. Kenrich, let me just say this to you, because here in Jamaica, here is a situation now where this was done in Suriname initially, then in Jamaica afterwards. It was done at the Maroon conference, where all the Maroon communities were represented. All the colonels were represented. Broadcast widely because I was broadcasting live back to IRA FM and, of course, globally. And yet we have a situation where our sister is not recognized by the communities here on the ground. Was this a failure on the part of Suriname, do you think, in terms of how it was done?
Sometimes you got to stand up before in front of the mirror and see what was done. And as a Maroon, sometimes you miss certain things. I think Jamaica, spiritually, everything is done perfectly. But if the people in Jamaica don't know about it, then maybe it is the lack of communication to tell people what it is. Because if you don't, in our language, we have something, asani dia sabi, na mati chakosi. If you don't know something, you will have to ask, what is it? Or if you're bringing something to someone, you should tell them, this is it. So let me say on behalf of us, maybe we should have give people more information on the broader community about what it is. Because if you don't know something, you might be scared of it. You might be afraid of it. But when you know what it is, then you might accept it, or you can accept it. But sometimes you feel left out. Say, hey, they didn't count me in, so I'm opposing it. So
There's also
Yeah.
another consideration, and I'm looking at our YouTube stream where my sister in the Netherlands, Poker TV, Aldis Onka, is suggesting it has to do with patriarchy. So, and I think that is a consideration also, that here is a woman who has entered the space, and it's the first time, even for Suriname, isn't it?
Yes.
For Suriname, on that level, yes, but spiritually, we have some big women or big female.
Yes.
Actually, in our spirituality, when we looking for strength and for spiritual guidance, we're calling upon the mothers in our songs, in our everything. The mothers are the ones who are doing it. So we are not feared or scared of female into position, into top ranks. No. But I think I really would like to put it like, in Dutch we say onbekend maakt onbemind. What you don't know, you don't love it, or you don't like it, or you cannot like it because you don't know it. So let me on my behalf, that's the way I think I would have put it, that maybe we should inform people. And we as Maroons, we do believe that by talking to each other, we can come to a agreement. Because from when we were flat in the interior, it was not an easygoing game. We had our struggles and our thing, but by communicating with each other. So I'm also this problem. I know if we are real Maroons, and I know we are, by talking to each other, we will find a solution. But we have to make that opportunity to talk to each other and listen to each other.
Real Africans. We might have communicated better during slavery.
Right.
Due to Bookman was in Haiti, Chief Tachi was connecting with every community and so on. So we might have done better in slavery, better than we're doing now. Is it too late?
Never too late. Why? Yeah. As long there is life, there is. I don't say hope. There is an opportunity, and always an opportunity. I'm telling you, like I'm a Maroon, and we are Maroon, and we don't give up. As long as our breath is, we have our breath, we're alive, and we could change things, and we will change things, and every obstacle we will overcome.
Yeah.
So also this we will overcome.
Yeah. So let us see what happens from here, knowing what you know now. And here we have an apology from a spiritual leader,
right.
And knowing all of what you know now, and the fact that she's being dismissed in the spaces, even with the apology on the table, is this now an opportune time for Suriname probably to step up and to say, listen, we need to have that conversation. We'll also have that conversation, but also to talk about what she means in the space, what's her sister means.
Definitely yes, but to say as a Maroon from Suriname, you don't step into someone's house uninvited.
Yes.
Okay. So Jamaica has to set like the occasion, and Suriname will come in and do what they have to do. And in that matter, it's not coming and dictate. No, we are not dictating. We come to communicate. And communication, that is the basis of us being here today, because I know that there were, even in the treaties, there were like a clause in the treaty where they said when people fled the interior, you should catch them and bring them back.
Right.
Yet still, we have 6 Maroon peoples, and they signed with only 2. So how the 4 became Maroon people still, if the 2 had catch them and bring them back? So that wasn't.
And this is part of the wider conversation, and this is why this conversation is critical. It must happen. It must happen. It must happen in the space.
Right.
I think this is the time is right. The timing is right, and not to interfere. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, I'm seeking an opportunity to speak to the chief of Akompong. I'm seeking opportunity to talk like brothers to let we have a conversation, or even other Maroon chiefs to talk.
What do you want to talk about?
As spiritually, we have certain things we could discuss, because since he was installed, I am looking actually nearly like a year or more for him. I didn't know the message came to me that try to speak to the brother. That message came, and I sent it out. It just didn't happen as yet.
Yes.
But I'm in our language we say, when the fruit is not ripe, it don't fall off the tree. So the time is not right yet.
All right. Well, we wish you good luck with that and all the best with that. And let us know what happens. We would like to know from you how this pans out. And really, because within our African community, the idea is not for us to shun roles that are spiritual roles, or to shun our history, our culture, our spirituality, our way of life. We talk about Sankofa, returning to the source. One of the things that we have to do too is to reclaim our Africanity, our Africanness, because we get bogged down also with titles and names such as Maroons, which at the end of the day are really derogatory names for us as African people. And we have taken on these names. I think that it is also time for us to return to our Africanness in terms of who we are. So it's a wider conversation. I think we have we have to come to that place, you know. But my brother, I want to thank you. Anything you want to say to our brother Kenrich before he goes, Gloria?
Wake you up.
Wake you up, man.
So lobby. So lobby.
Yes.
Lobby ala uno.
Yeah, we lobby ala too.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Walk good and tell him other one howdy. Yes. From Suriname, there, our brother Kenrich, Kheru. So the work continues on the ground here, Sister Gloria. You're not trying to be recognized. You're just doing your thing. Did you at any time try to be recognized? No. Talking about
I don't really have a problem with recognition like that. You know me, Sister Andrea.
I know that. Well, maybe it's time you blow the
maybe they recognize me too much because you know I draw a lot of attraction when I walk around. I don't need no more recognition than
burlap.
With the burlap.
Yes, so what we probably need is a shell.
Well, we continue working. I didn't come out with it this morning. We continue working, you know. As the Shell, I'm part of the Taino tribe. My great-grandmother, by my mother's side, was Jane Mendez, spelled with a Z. So my great-grandmother was Taino. And so I'm a part of the Taino council as well.
So you go by the name?
I'm Tikina Nuna, which is the wisdom keeper. In the Taino tribe as well, you know, and I work with every community. You know, I work well with Rastafari. Hail my Rastafari brethren, them Mama Fire. There, you know you listen, you know. And so, you know, I work with my Rastafari people from long time and have that respect amongst them, you know. Just being honored by Mama Fire again with a certificate of recognition since March again. And you know, the works continue. I work with the Kumina group, them in St. Thomas. They keep calling me. They keep calling me, you know,
so the indigenous groups are the groups that you work with, you move through, and so on.
I work with revival group as well. When I go to Watertown, I have my revival sister, you know, they invite me to them Thanksgiving table. No matter if them say Jesus, me I go see him because the drum Indian, me recognize the Africanness in it.
Right,
so I'm here. I work with people. I work with people in the diaspora. I have a diasporal group that we work with that has been to the United Nations and back here now. We're going through all the things with report.
Is there another United Nations trip that is coming up? Did you go already?
It went, yes. It went there just the other day. I think Kenrich was a part of it as well.
Okay.
You know, we're working with diasporal Maroon group from Trinidad, Dominican Maroon, Suriname Maroon, and the Garifuna in Belize, and more people is coming on board. You know, within the Caribbean.
So the work continues. It is wider. It is wide. It's not as narrow as
borderless.
It's a global work.
Borderless.
Wide. I want to say good morning to my article sister, Queen Africa. Good morning, Africa. How are you doing? She's listening and she's been commenting all morning. We're going to pick up on that shortly.
Mama
my sister of the heart, Queen Africa.
Mama Ita Pitney.
Yes.
Yeah, Mama Ita was.
Yes. All right. Sister Gamma, thank you so much. Akinsanya since today. Thank you so much, Gamma. Where does this go from here, though? The apology. I mean, it's out there and that's it? Oh, we lose a microphone. Hold on to this.
The apology. We're looking forward to see how we can deal with that atonement, reconciliation, and moving into restorative justice. The people need healing. We all need healing in this country, and this is where it all begins. And that is where I want to go, to give back, to help repair some of the damage on the ground. Spiritually is all it have to be done because the people mind. I hear you speaking on mental health this morning. Yeah, post-traumatic slave syndrome, the work has to begin.
Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you, Gamma Gloria Sims. Thank you so much for coming in and for helping us to understand this whole process because it's out there. We interviewed about it already, but here we are interviewing again. Gamma Akinsanya, since you're here, my brother, I'm just going to ask you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you. Oh, we do have a break. All right, so Charleston, the 14th, and stand up, let me read it.
Read it out.
You never know a t-shirt, come here, so man. Me don't need it. Hold on, wait a second. The 14th Annual International Charlestown Maroon Conference and Festival, Sankofa and the Healing of the Indigenous Maroon Peoples, Land and Culture. The 14th annual gone already, or it coming?
Coming up June.
Coming up June.
21st to the 25th.
June 21 to... Or 23, June 23, which is just a few weeks.
Yeah.
All right, may I come out there?
These 3 days, the conversation continues
and
there.
it's in
But
Charlestown.
we start with the Equinox
Yes.
and the Taino Day on the 21st,
Yeah,
Mama Lima.
you have the
Mama G
Equinox
doing her
Day on the
install on the
21st with
22nd.
Kashike Kalan, and then the 22nd I'll be blessing my stool and feeding it for the first time.
Official, the
Okay.
23rd
Yes.
is the treaty day.
All right, so here we go with the treaty again. We're going to start out the
Treaty
treaty.
Day start the 23rd with ancestral blessings, and we go into the next day, and everything continue in the conference. I mean,
All right, let's take a break and come forward to Akinsanya.
The time brought to you by IRI FM is
9:45.
Simplified customer due diligence is a mechanism used by financial institutions for identifying and verifying a potential customer's identity. Fewer documents are required to open an account with simplified customer due diligence.
This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Chick Society, in association with Chris's Restaurant and Exodus, presents a Natto Festa 2-day event. Sunday, May 22, Monday, May 23. Coconut Grove and Natto Bay St. Mary. Day 1. Show starts at midnight featuring Jashi, Jamil, and enough more artists. General admission, 2,000 pre-sold, to 5 at the gate. VIP, 3,000 pre-sold, 4,000 at the gate. Packages available. WhatsApp call 347-615-4737 to reserve table and packages. Day 2. Family Fun Day. Breakfast on the beach. Refreshment on sale. Enough kids attractions. Lots of giveaways. Local artists and surprise guest artists. Admission 1,000, so bring up the kids. Ticket outlets, Chris's Restaurant and Exodus and Natto Bay.
All aboard! Cashpot Money Train run a pre-Labor Day special.
From now till May 21, you can win $300 on a $10 bet.
So catch the Cashpot pre-Labor Day Money Train now at Supreme Ventures.
All right, we're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African, and my brother Akinsanya is in the house. Just a 2 minutes or 3 minutes we're going to take and have a quick one from Akinsanya once more. Over to you, my brother.
What we're searching for, it's who we are. That what we're searching for, it's who we are. Many close their eyes and pray, trying to find their way. Nature's laws disobeyed, there's a price to pay. So know thyself, thy spiritual health. To know thyself, there's no greater wealth. That what you're searching for, it's who we are. What we're searching for, it's who you are. Self don't deceive, seek no truth, not just believe, for they will try selling you a sky pie. What we're searching for, it's who you are. That what we're searching for, it's who you are, who you are, who we are. It's 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 who you are. It's who we are. It's who we are. It's who we are. It's who you are. It's who we are. Sila. Anna.
Sila, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Akinsania. Thank you so much, my sister Gloria. Thank you so much. Look here, we're going to come to Charlestown. We're up there June 23.
Yeah, man, like holistic camping, you know.
You can come and stay. You can because you don't have the microphone, so we're not hear you, you know. So
yes,
say that again.
You can get tent to rent. You can get tent to rent and stay over if you don't want to leave.
But we want on Treaty Day, we want to come talk about the treaty, because even though our sister Gloria has apologized, there's still a celebration of Treaty Day without the conversation necessary. And we know that, well, you know my stance, we must burn the treaty. And yes, we have to deal with the treaty. I mean, we could go left, right, and center. We're not throw out the baby with the bathwater because we're all Africans. Yeah. We recognize ourselves as Africans, and we recognize that we cannot, the liberation struggle continues. And it's going to take all of us, regardless of where we are. But there are some major issues and some not so major issues within our communities that we have to deal with. And this morning I spoke with Ras Wayne of the Rastafari community, who talk about the very same thing, that we need to come together. When we head to Saint Lucia on July 21 to August 17, this is a reason, he says, for healing and justice.
Yeah, man, healing and atonement.
And I think it's a moment for healing and justice. Right, Akinsanya?
Yeah, man.
The treaty has to be put front and foremost in the healing process here in terms of our relationship with those who identify as Maroons on Jamaica, on the island.
Yeah, because we're African people and we're born with our sovereignty, you know. So we're pressing the reset button, you know.
And we don't have to quarrel about it.
No, man.
We just press the reset button.
We strongly, you know, reason and face. Sometimes we have a shadow we have to face, you know.
Yes. I think it's something that we have to face, and that the time is now to face that. We're not hearing you, Gama.
Yeah, we are in a great shift right now, and everyone is resetting them button, you know? Resetting them thing and going back to the drafting board to correct any mistake, to do this, to do that, to get your thing right. Because we're moving into a era of peace and harmony. Even though you see it look good, it look like this
is going
now,
to be what it's going to be
before
it gets
to that. It is a mix of cleaning up going on.
It's the age of Aquarius.
Like,
right, yeah, so we reach.
Like a chemicalization moment going into that movement. And we must aware and be conscious. Yes. And be conscious also of our existence, and our consciousness also must be together in this moment, because it will pass a lot of people by. If you're not consciously knowing that is a reset time is going on, and you're going now into that life that we prayed for, chant for, and whatever, and we must move collectively in it, conscious of what we're doing for our good right now.
Recognizing the time, recognizing
be aware.
The space, recognizing that the time is now. Let us see where this goes. You know, we can talk until the cows come home, but until we act. And I like what I hear coming from the Rastafari community this morning, that the justice and healing coming together will be in Saint Lucia from July 21 to August 19. We want to hear about the truth and reconciliation within the Maroon community in short order. We're still hearing about Treaty Day. And I know that, listen, I am fully aware of the backlash that I get when I talk about the need to address what happened, I am fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of the threats. I'm fully aware of the backlash. I'm fully aware of the anger. I'm fully aware of the angst. I am fully aware of all of it. But I think that I stand in a space of truth, and I am really not afraid to speak truth in any space. So the truth I speak is that regardless of how we want to spin it, we know how the Europeans worked. We know what they did on the continent of Africa and got Africans complicit in this, they trade in enslaved Africans. We know what they did here on the ground in Jamaica and got Africans complicit in the enslavement and continuing enslavement of those liberation figures who escaped from the plantations and were returned because of the treaty. We know that. And our thing, though, is not to say that it didn't happen. Our thing is to say that we, as they did in Africa, that we recognize that this happened and that we need, we will reconcile. And how do you reconcile? You do not reconcile by continuing to deny that it happened and by continuing to prevaricate, because we see a lot of that happening. Colonel Sterling was here. I spoke to him. This is a discussion I've been having with him for 31 years. Well, not quite 31, because he's 1995. But as long as he's been a colonel, it's a conversation I've had with every single colonel of the Maroons, including Chief Curry before he was a colonel, because I interviewed him in Akompong when he announced that he would be running for colonel, and we talked about that for a moment. And I find that, the fact that we keep pushing this back speaks to our own downfall, because we can't, the liberation process and the struggle for liberation that we're in, we can't win this unless we do it together. But we can't do it with all of the issues that we have.
Have to clean up.
Yeah, we have to clean up our house.
Have to clean up and then move forward. It's like a generational curse, and it has been there, like it's stuck us. We're not going. You're not passing the pass.
And it's time
to move on, and we cannot bring this legacy to our children.
No.
We'll have to fix it before.
It's the age of Aquarius. All right, let me say thanks to Donna Mattis. I see you on YouTube, Poker TV, Black Lion, Michael GB, Rick Storm TV, the official Queen Africa, Black Lion, Marva Keen, I'm So Sharp, Lancelot Wilson, Freddie McGregor, Jay Can Understand, Dwayne Perron Mohammed White, Ninja Guy, I'm missing some because every time I go down, Red Demo Bunny, Ma'at Sisterhood Circle, and I Just Stars, The Mindset, Howard Dahlhouse, I Just Stars, yes, and who do we have? I know I've got quite a few there. Luke and Roden, Sister Ruben, Mark Berry, Justin's Sagan, Poker TV, Mayaya Nature, and Donna Betty. Did we say that before? Right, me call her name wrong. Henry Moulton, Sammy Dredd, Jacqueline Steer, Donette McGee, Omar Delgado. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's just on YouTube, so I know we're missing some on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and so on. But thank you. Thanks to the team, to Shamara Preston, my producer, to DJ Kemar at the console, to Peter Broadber, who made all of this possible, Wilbert Wisdom, Jody K. Tucker, Trishana Marsh, and of course, my name is Kabu, Kabuma at Kheru. Thanks also to DJ Collision. Where's Collision there? I want him to take over. Collision, wait, we never see you. How did you? How you doing? All right, so DJ Collision, who is in the house. Thanks to, of course, Gloria Sims, Kenrich Cairo. We didn't get to go to Ghana. Thanks to Colonel Wallace Sterling, Ivan Deans, Andrew Osborne, Alicia Julius, and who are we missing? Thanks to Ras Wayne and Ras Jomo. We'll see you next week, inshallah. Mama, how may I left you?
Mama Lima.
Mama
Big up
Lima.
my 6 children, and Rodney, Rodine, Romel, Raku, Rochelle, Roxanne, Michelle, Kim,
Up your R.
Alex,
We
Alex,
get the R there.
Jomi.
And thanks
all
to
that,
you, and thanks to you for listening and for watching and for being a part of the program this morning. We'll be back with you come next week Sunday with much more inside of the Africa Forum, inshallah. Walk good and tell him other one howdy.
Bless.